live presentation of CBC Sports.
Golden dreams, golden memories, golden moments, and yet still there was something missing: body contact. Ah, that's better. We're back. Did you miss us? Well, thank you, and we haven't come empty-handed. We've come bearing a Labor Day Classic doubleheader. First up, the Argos Flutie works the field like no other. He comes to town riding high. It's been a labor of love for the pinball. This season's been a long time coming. Matt's one of the best at his occupation, but he's on sick leave. It may look grave for Marvin, but he's a troubleshooter. He'll strive for the upset. But wait, don't buy yet. How much would you pay for this? Garcia has proven he can operate with the best. And he's got some guys who aren't afraid to work, like Pitts. But hey, this is no picnic. The Eskimos are no slackers, not with guys like Willie in the trenches. It's a Labor Day welcome to the Classic doubleheader. Hey, come on, can't you show a little enthusiasm? Well, the Argos and Ticats are on the marquee with a near-capacity crowd filing in to Ivor win on Labor Day. It's perfect. The Ticats will have their largest crowd in 4 years, maybe even a sellout. One of the things that makes life worth living for these Hamilton fans is the expectation the Cats will feast on the Argos on Labor Day. Welcome now to Hamilton. Glad you could join us for the return of the CFL on CBC. I'm Scott Oak. Well, the stretch drive is underway and the Argos lead by at least a furlong. If the Cats are to follow the form chart that usually sees them beat the Argos on this day, they'll have to overcome enormous odds this year. The Argos are rolling. Under the direction of the great Doug Flutie, they're off to an 8-1 start, the team's best ever. Flutie's been a perfect fit in Toronto, more than halfway to a 6,000-yard passing season, a fabled mark that he has hit twice before. To describe the proceedings in this classic, we present this very tough combination. Dan Kepley, Hall of Fame linebacker who will be inducted this year, and the world's #1 rowing commentator, Chris Cuthbert. The latter reference, of course, one of the frequent Olympic flashbacks we've all been suffering. But Chris, this is Labor Day. We all know what that means.
Yeah, it means it's a gold medal day for the CFL, East or West. And Kep, you can take the linebacker out of Alberta on Labor Day, but you can't take Labor Day out of the linebacker.
You can't, Chris. You put it into perspective with the hockey going on the World Cup. This is the Canada-Russia series. If you've ever slipped on a pair of shoulder pads or laced up a pair of shoes on Labor Day, you know what it feels to be this inspired.
Well, we all know what Doug Flutie's done for the Argos this year. A double threat out of the backfield, but so has Robert Drummond. He's been outstanding for Toronto.
Has a true chance to show his wear and his worth this year. 10 touchdowns, second in the CFL in all-purpose yards. But what he brings to the party is the ability for Doug Flutie to show multiple formations without changing personnel, because he can play a lot of positions.
Well, before Doug Flutie, Marvin Graves was supposed to be the quarterback of the future for Toronto. Here he is trying to beat the Argos on Labor Day.
When he gets a chance to play against the team that released him earlier in the season, he's going to be there with a strong arm, his mobility. But the things that will be tested today are his patience and being able to read defense.
Yes, and the the defensive line will test the Tiger Cats offensive line today as well, Scott.
40 sacks given up by the Ticats offensive line on the season, Chris. This is the first time since Matt Dunnigan was hurt the Cats have started the same quarterback in consecutive weeks. We'll see if Graves can ride the wave of emotion. When we're done here, it is west to Calgary for the second half of our Labor Day Classics. The Eskimos and Stamps have no trouble getting it cranked up on Labor Day. Here's Mark Lee.
Scott, you do up your chin strap tight when you play against Edmonton. The Eskimos have the CFL's dominant defense. A dozen players unaccustomed to the licking they took 1 year ago on Labor Day. Unheralded Jeff Garcia in for the injured Doug Flutie, riddling Edmonton for 6 touchdown passes in a rout. Today's game marks the first anniversary of his Labor Day debut in Calgary.
There's a lot at stake. Not only is Edmonton right behind us, and as far as the point totals go, and you know, they're a good team, they're a quality team, they're going to be there in the end, they're going to be there in the playoffs. So I think this is a measure of how good we are right now and how good they are. And it's important that we come out and play our type of game and hopefully get a victory and just prove to everybody that we are the best team in the West.
Garcia has his Stampeders first at the halfway pole in the West at 8-1. He's been a meteoric rise to the top of CFL quarterbacking, but repeating his performance of 1 year ago will be a hard act to follow. It's all coming up at 4 Eastern. Now, Scott, back to you in Hamilton.
Mark, thank you. On the BF Goodrich TA halftime report today from Hamilton, Matt Dunnigan struggled to get back into the Cats lineup. He's one of a number of pro athletes to suffer the effects of numerous concussions and will check in Calgary again to reset the stage for the Esks and Stamps. Labor Day weather gets no better than what we have in Southern Ontario today. This game is usually part of the last rites of summer. That seems a bit away yet. Conditions are perfect for the Cats and Argos. Weather clear, track fast. Here are Chris and Dan.
And the Argos have enjoyed fast times this year. How about Don Matthews' record? He's won 21 of his last 22 games. The Argos riding a 7-game win streak, trying to win 8 in a row for the first time since 34-35. There's Don Southern's record as a Ticat head coach. They were out of the blocks in outstanding fashion, but Matt Dunnigan gets hurt. They go 0 for August, and they're trying to come out of a skid where they've lost 5 of 6.
Matt Dunnigan does get hurt, but even worse than that, they lose their second-string quarterback in Cavill. They lose the third-string quarterback. Now it's come back. Marvin Graves gets the call today with Mike Kerrigan as the backup.
It's a battered Ticat team, but strange things happen on Labor Day as Mike Vanderjack kicks it off, and we're underway. Sam Rogers with the kickoff just outside his own 30-yard line, running cross field and upended at the 36-yard line by the veteran Ed Barry, a 10-yard return of the 48-yard kickoff. And there is Marvin Graves, the former Toronto Argonaut. It's the first time in a month the Ticats have started the same quarterback, first time since the Dunnigan injury, 2 weeks in a row. And Graves says he doesn't hold a grudge against the Argos, but you know he desperately wants to play well against his old team here.
Deep down inside, any team that goes back and gets a chance to do something against the team that cut him, you want to make good on that day.
Here's Anthony Rush on the first, Tyrone Rush, the first running play of the game. Reggie Gibbons, the middle linebacker, meets him at the 40-yard line. Well, Miles Gurrell is in for game number 313 of his career. The Ticats offensive line has been taking a little heat of late, but not Matt Cody, who has been called the most pleasant surprise for the Tiger Cats so far this year. He's had an outstanding receiving season, and it's 2nd down and 4 for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And Graves pulls it down. There's that scrambling ability that Dan Kepley talked about. He can run the football, and it looks like he has the initial first down, pulled down by the veteran former Tiger Cat, the mobile Tim Cofield.
Chris, the key to this game is for the Hamilton offensive line to have success and be able to dominate to a point. And if not, then this is what this young kid can do. Get outside the pocket. They lose contained by Cofield. Just pick up, make the defense, respect him as a quarterback. Then it's going to open up the pass routes a little more for the Hamilton receiving corps.
First down on the 5-yard pickup by Graves. This time play action and a roll to the right side. Looking downfield deep for Cody, and it's picked off. Donald Smith, the corner for the Argos, with great coverage on the leading receiver in the game for the Tiger Cats, Matt Cody. So Graves' first pass turns out to be the 2nd interception of the year for Donald Smith.
This is the one thing that I mentioned at the onset of this game. Marvin Graves having the ability to be patient. Here he's not patient at all. He scrambled outside. He had about 15 or 20 yards. He could have easily ran the ball, but he just tried to force it where it did not fit. And Donald Smith comes up with his 4th interception of the season.
Looks like he underthrew that to Smith, or to Cody, and Smith got under the ball. So Doug Clooney starts on his own 11 and over the middle to Mike Pinball Clements. And what a year that Clements has had catching the football for the Toronto Argonauts. Tom Gerhardt with the tackle, and there are the numbers for Flutie. He looks like he's en route to another 6,000-yard season, as Scott mentioned. And I think most importantly, Doug says with each week now, he's feeling more comfortable with the Argo offense.
That's the big thing. He had to come over and he had to become accustomed to these new receivers, to a new offensive line, to the way they ran the route, but he has done it marvelously, and this offense is very proficient in putting points on the board.
8-yard pickup for Clemens, 2nd and 2, and Pinball gets the ball on the ground. He won't rush it much, but there you see he's still got that great ability, and Pinball's out to the 25-yard line. Flutie and Pinball, the two smallest guys in the league, the two most dangerous.
Truly, when you line Michael Clements in the backfield with Drummond, these guys are serious weapons. You've got Williams on the outside. They have a number of weapons that they can use, and it is hard for the defense to concentrate on one guy. If you think you're going to take Drummond out of the play, the next thing happens, that guy right there, Pinball, makes a big play and makes something happen for your team.
Robert Drummond, the lone setback, 5-receiver package for Flutie. And he hits Drummond out of the backfield, and this guy's big-time dangerous. Robert Drummond across midfield, and that's a touchdown-saving tackle by the safety, Sam Rogers. But right away, you see the ability of Robert Drummond, who leads the Canadian Football League in yardage from scrimmage, and that's a 32-yard gain.
Just to the left of your screen. Now watch Doug. He wants to throw the ball downfield. He sees Drummond, dumps it out outside. The big play there, and what happened? Derek Greer, the corner, gets caught way inside, and it allowed Drummond and used that speed to get it upfield and get it across midfield.
If you're asking where he was hiding last year, he was hiding behind Mike Pringle in Baltimore. First down, little shovel pass. Again, it's Drummond, and he lunges to the 45-yard line. That's a gain of 9 for the Argonauts offense that's rolling early behind the big offensive line led by Mike Kiselak, who many in the Argo camp feel is the best offensive lineman in the CFL. Tyrone Williams, the great Canadian receiver, has been outstanding so far this year at the slot back position for Doug Flutie, and all those receivers are dangerous. Dwayne Dimitrition getting the start in place of the injured Paul Mazzotti.
And when you talk about receivers, there, Fairholm has retired, Mazzotti's hurt. Those are two other serious weapons.
Here's Flutie, great fake to Clemens, throws everybody, and he's out in the flat for a first down to Jimmy Cunningham, down at the 38. Derek Greer just got a piece of Cunningham to force him to the turf. Let's set the Ticat defense. This is the front four they employed last year. Mike Campbell's revved up because he's a former Argo. Although all the Ticats revved up for a chance to play against the Argonauts. Tom Gerhardt has been outstanding. He was with San Antonio last year. And Don Southern really happy that Brett Young is back in the lineup. He's their best man in the secondary, and they'll employ the nickel back and extra DB with the two linebackers. First down, Flutie's rolling. And shooting it out to Tyrone Williams, just unable to haul that one in. That's a rare drop for Williams, who was Flutie's favorite receiver the last time these two teams met. He caught 7 for 125 yards. Kevin Gaines was in coverage, and there is a penalty on the play.
Illegal contact against Hamilton. Doug Flutie waiting patiently for Williams to clear
Illegal
pass.
contact on an eligible receiver. Hamilton, number 33. First down.
The clear pass, Kevin Gaines, number 24. But here we're going to see the chuck. Number 33, that's Sampson. On Mike Pinball. Just rolls him down to the ground. And Pinball says, hey, I'm not going to take any of that. Get out of my face. And this is the kind of game and the kind of physical stuff that takes place on Labor Day, whether you're in Hamilton or whether you're in Calgary.
Don Southern looking for the defense to dig in its heels here. It's been an impressive march for Flutie after the interception. Here's Drummond with the carry on the ground, and he breaks one tackle and is down to the 23. Pickup of 5 for Big Drummond, 6'3", 215 pounds, a load out of Syracuse.
And this is a guy that runs a legit 4-3. Don Matthews said, as you look at him right there, this guy last year was the best kept secret that Baltimore had. The only thing that was bigger than him was Mike Pringle's numbers.
Second down, 5 to go as Flutie tries to keep the drive alive. Rush on, looking for Williams, and it's incomplete. Brett Young working against Williams, and I think Young felt he was pushed off.
Well, he was pushed off. As Williams worked down the field, that left hand got on the hip of Brent Young, the starting halfback, gave him just a little shove right at the last minute. Let's see if we can pick it up on the replay. Straight seam route, just going to make a move, get outside, now get up the field quickly. Lean on him a bit, now make the hand, just make a little push into the chest, create some separation. Doug Flutie thought he should have had that one.
And so it will result in Mike Vanderjack coming on to attempt a 30-yard field goal. Flutie is the holder. John Raposo of the University of Toronto, the snapper. And Vanderjagt in his first Labor Day game is good. So an interception by Donald Smith, a good drive for the Argos, and a 3-point lead.
The most colorful part of a football game is winning, especially when you play the BF Goodrich TA Show 'em Your True Colors football contest. Watch the CFL on CBC and you could win a set of 4 BF Goodrich TA tires or be eligible for our grand prize, a fabulous trip for 4 to the 1996 Grey Cup. Just call 1-900-870-2728. Guess who's going to win and by how much? You could really come through with flying colors when you play the BF Goodrich TA Show 'em Your True Colors football contest.
Universal Pictures presents Damon Wayans.
Easy, lovely boy. Any woman that fine got to have a man running around here somewhere.
My friend said you said he wanted to make out with me.
And Adam Sandler.
Looks like I was hitting on your girlfriend here.
Rocket Archie Show!
In the story of a cop.
Archie Moses, you're under arrest.
A criminal.
How can you do this to me?
And the end of a beautiful friendship. Damon Wayans. Adam Sandler. Bulletproof. Starts Friday at theaters everywhere.
Sutton Creek Golf and Country Club, up to 6,900 yards from the first tee to the 19th hole that winds its way through 9 lakes and a forest of mature trees. Our members enjoy advantages like a 7-day advance tee time booking, an excellent games program that includes a couples league, 3 ladies and 3 men's league, plus a junior program. Become a member today for the 97 season. The balance of 96 is on the house, plus no initiation fee. Enjoy the casual elegance of our clubhouse. Sutton Creek is the best golf buy of the season. Sutton Creek and you, a great combination.
Well, Don Southern's black and gold team has really been black and blue this year. You got to feel for the head coach who's lost a couple of quarterbacks, 10 starters out of the lineup because of injury. Trying to keep it all together until everybody gets healthy again, and maybe a guy like Mike O'Shea returns to the Tiger Cats, still trying to nail down a position in the NFL. Kickoff is handled by Rogers. Here's Brendan Rogers catching up with him, and we've seen that for years. Brendan Rogers, the former Winnipeg Blue Bomber, always one of the premier players in the Canadian Football League on specialty teams, and he nails Sam Rogers for a gain of just 12 on that return.
This is a guy, Brendan Rogers, that gives you incredible effort every time he gets out there. Now take a look at the injury list here. You may want to call in a MASH unit to take care of these guys.
How about that? Earl Winfield, the all-star wide receiver, Calvin Tiggle, the starting middle linebacker. In fact, Joe Montford out of the lineup again, another linebacker. Here's Tyrone Rush trying to get outside, and no gain, and that's been a story kept for the Hamilton Tiger Cats this year, their inability to rush the football. Don Southern talked about it last week. They wanted to improve the ground game. They had negative 2 yards rushing against the Edmonton Eskimos.
It's imperative for him to rush the ball. Don Southern wants to get into a 2-back system. He knows when it starts to get cold, he needs to rush it more. The big thing is that offensive line has to dominate up front. Now, when you do some of that counter stuff, this Toronto defense is so quick and so fast, they can make a mistake, but their speed can get them back into the play to make the tackle.
Lost 3 on that, so an obvious passing situation for Graves, who guns it over the middle. And that ball's incomplete. Closest tie cat to the ball was Ted Long. So a tough start for Marvin Graves. 2 series, an interception, and a 2-and-out situation for the former Argonaut quarterback.
Having a chance yesterday to talk to Mike Kerrigan, the backup quarterback, he said it was important to get first down production. Stay out of 2nd and long against this Toronto defense, and that would enable a guy like Marvin Graves to utilize a few more plays in his repertoire to try to keep some possession drives alive.
Jimmy Cunningham back, accepting the punt, and what a blast by Paul Osbaldiston, driving Cunningham back to the 25, and great downfield coverage by the Hamilton Tiger Cats, led by Dean Noel and Andrew Martin. That's a 61-yard punt and just a 4-yard return.
Can you remember the way it used to feel when you believed in make-believe and fairy tales were real?
It's the 25th anniversary of Walt Disney World, and the most magical celebration ever begins at McDonald's, where you can sign up to be a part of it all and get one of 4 25th anniversary glasses, just $1.59 each when you buy any large sandwich like the new Arch Deluxe.
Remember the magic.
It's Don.
The Donster.
It's about the car, Al.
Be here any day.
I'm buying a Nissan Altima instead.
Excuse me?
Altima, J.D. Power and Associates' best entry midsize car and initial quality in the U.S.
Really?
Yeah, I'm financing it at 3.8%.
4.8.
No, Al, 3.8. Of course, I could lease it for $299 a month.
$3.99?
No, Al, $299.
Standard, right?
Automatic.
Doors?
Oh, yeah.
Both sides?
Both sides.
Roof?
Buying a new car? Compare first, buy second. The 1996 Nissan Altima.
Forbidding terrain. 75 AWOL heartbeats. Second thoughts. One leap of faith. 140-story drop and 2 loose screws. Equals 100% pure adrenaline. For all you do, this bud's for you.
Argos did not attempt a field goal last week in their 28-21 win over the Ottawa Rough Riders, but have an early field goal here at Iverwin Stadium. Speaking of Ottawa, nice sight Friday. Congratulations to the folks. Felt like the good old days. And, well, it was Lansdowne Park, now Frank Clair Stadium, and let's hope they keep packing the park.
It had a tradition that way of going when you went into that park. It was going to be a tough physical game, and that night it was, with the Rough Riders coming out ahead.
First down, Argos at their own 30, and Flutie over the middle. There's Jimmy Cunningham, broke a tackle, and he might break it. Jimmy Cunningham into Hamilton territory, dragged down from behind by Sam Rogers. Doug Flutie was telling me the other day that that's a 38-yard pickup, that Cunningham isn't on pace for 1,000 yards right at the moment, but he's the kind of guy that can have a 200-yard game anytime.
This is a 3-yard pass. Up in front of you, Tim Brown. Jimmy Cunningham forces him to stutter step, pause just for a minute, then that great explosion that he has, turning the Jets on, and he's able to get it upfield. Not before Sam Rogers was able to knock him out of bounds in a 38-yard game.
Leader in the CFL in all-purpose yardage, coming into the game with 1,402. And Flutie in the offense has looked sharp so far. He pulls it down, looks for some blocking. And Doug Flutie inside the 15 might score. He's nailed at the 5-yard line. Flutie may have paid the price, but a big gain of 37 for Doug Flutie on the ground.
What Doug Flutie again brings to this party is his ability just to make something happen out of nothing. Great coverage downfield by the Hamilton secondary, and then all Doug Flutie has to do, find an open spot, see a little light, find a crack, and then he makes it all on his own effort, gets it downfield, sets it up first and goal on about the 5-yard line.
Flutie 7th in the CFL in rushing. Nice job by Dwayne Dimitrition, leading out there in the blocking from the wideout position. And now Flutie, that little shovel pass inside, and Clemens is in for the touchdown. Pinball Clemens with his 5th rushing touchdown of the season, and the Argos have made it look easy on offense in this first quarter.
Multiple talents, multiple sets, and when you concentrate on one guy like Drummond's, take a look. Drummond's is to your right. It looks like the option play going to him down the line. No. Let's go back inside. The shovel pass to Michael Clements. Turns his head upfield, gets the head down, runs over Sam Rogers to safety to get it in for the major.
6th touchdown of the year for Mike Clements. A lot of people wondered how he would fit into the Argo offense this year with big Robert Drummond, but the little guy is having one of his best seasons ever.
You know, with Michael there, the thing that the offense has really centered around him for a number of years, and defenses have concentrated and taken him out of the ball game. Now with Flutie there, with Drummond there, with Williams there, with Fairholm and Mazzotti, all those guys that were there, Michael Clemens gets to shine. You can't concentrate on everybody. And this is the kind of effort that 5'8", 165-pound guy will give you. I'll run it inside, he'll run it outside, he'll catch it over the middle, he'll do whatever it takes to get a W at the end of the day.
Clemens doesn't want all the notoriety on that drive. How about the Argos? We haven't played 10 minutes, 135 yards of offense.
Well, Chris, the one thing bad about Michael, if anything, he's such an introvert. It's hard to get him to come out and say a few things and smile and act excited about his profession.
I'm going to correct that. Doug Flutie has 100 yards passing and 35 yards rushing. He has 135 yards of offense. So the Argonauts serving notice early. They're intent on beating up the arch rivals in their own park today. Toronto trying to make it 8 in a row. Hamilton has dominated Labor Day in recent years, winning 8 of the last 10, 23 of 29 overall. And Don Wilson is downfield to hit Rogers. And here comes Marvin Graves, who very early is in a hole.
Well, and what he has to do, he's in a hole because he dug it himself. What he needs to do, try to sprint it out, move this pocket a little bit, dump it off, throw the inside routes, try to pick up 4 or 5 yards on first down, put himself in 2nd and 4, 2nd and 6, something like that. Then if the coverage is downfield or the rush doesn't happen, he can use that scrambling ability to pick up the first down and keep these drives alive. The main thing he has to do is try to keep Doug Flutie off the football field.
This is interesting. Justin Ring, who has been an outside linebacker wearing number 36 for Hamilton, is set up in the backfield.
Now look, they're lined up. They have 2 tight ends. This is Sudsy's new Dumbo set.
Rush trying the right side, squirted through up to the 40-yard line. That's a pickup of 8. So Don Southern is intent on establishing the rush with Tyrone Rush any way he can do it.
He's going to try to get this rushing game going, and what he has to do, as he said, he brings in Lou Cafazo, and he also brings in Mike Campbell as tight ends and line them up to get off the ball and block.
This is kind of like an alignment you'd see down on the goal line or in a short yardage situation, but it provided actually 9 yards, the spot at the 41. Now they'll try the other side, and this time it didn't work at all. Well, you can't fool the Argos 2 plays in a row with that alignment. Don Wilson crashed through and broke it up.
On the stop for the Argos.
Ed Berry with just a tremendous surge and penetration across the line of scrimmage. A toss play on 2nd and 2. Very slow developing, and the defense gets a chance to get off the ball and get that penetration, as Berry did, made the tackle 3 yards deep in the end zone.
If you're going to set up like that, it almost takes away the threat of a pass and lets the Argos key on the rush, doesn't it?
Well, in that case it does, but what he was hoping to do with those first 2 plays or 3 plays is to catch him off guard, and he did the first play. They just adjusted to it very quickly defensively.
Well, Paul Osbaldiston has a slight tear in his knee. He will not place kick today. Says there is some pain, but no danger of causing any further damage in the punting situation.
He said as long as he could kick it straight ahead, he could get the strength and the weight on his kick.
He's doing all right. Jimmy Cunningham brings it back to the 33-yard line. That's a 51-yarder, so Oz is booming them 61 and 51 yards, but the Argos lead.
Oh, steady. Oh! Car not riding as smoothly as you'd like? Well, suspension trouble could be in your struts, your shock, your springs, or your alignment. So, head over to Midas for a free inspection. They'll show you in writing not just what's wrong, but what needs fixing now and what can wait. That way, you get some choice in the matter, which is better than getting jerked around. Midas, the way it should be. Oh, big fella. Oh.
I remember watching the CBC's This Hour Has 7 Days. They really took risks. I love the way they pushed, prodded, the way they provoked. I guess I always preferred facts over fiction, trying to figure out what makes people say and do the things they do. The bottom line is, it's the Canadian story we're telling, and there is only one way to tell it. You tell it like it is.
Three years ago, Professor Valerie Fabricant murdered 4 of his colleagues at Concordia University. There had been signs of trouble to come.
He became quite agitated and mentioned that he would shoot the rector and take the rector hostage and other people hostage. Then he told me that he had a gun. He'd gone over at the edge.
But no one could stop him. The tenure of Dr. Fabricant, Tuesday night at 9 on Witness.
Well, Well, back at Iverwin Stadium, a classic flashback now to 1991, the year the Argos with Dunnigan and the Rocket were on their way to the Grey Cup, but stopped cold by the Cats on Labor Day. Mike Kerrigan threw 2 touchdown passes to Rocky DiPietro. The Cats 0-8 starting the game, won at 48-24. Mike Kerrigan back with the Cats now. On Thursday, he was the team's quarterback coach. Now he's backup quarterback, the architect of a few Hamilton Labor Day wins, Chris, and the betting is he'll get another chance today.
That was the last time I was here in a Labor Day game. What an enormous upset. John Gregory's first game as the coach after David Beckman had been dismissed. Here's Mike Moriali, a Hamilton boy, with the catch up at midfield.
Flutie to Mike Moriali.
Mike Moriali's been talking about this game since the season started. And
Robinson on the
Flutie
stop.
knows how big it is for him, and guys like Paul Mazzotti, who is unable to play today, but kids that grew up here at Iverwin Stadium during the Labor Day Classics of the past, guys like Moriali really want to excel today.
He knows exactly. He's a great possession receiver. Gets that big 6-foot frame down there, 6'3", turns it around and makes a big target for Doug Flutie to throw into in between the zone.
Here's Drummond. Trying to get outside and does turn the corner. A flag down. Drummond taken down, and Drummond may be shaken up. He went down hard at that sideline, and the Argos may argue a late hit. A flag down at another point, and Gerhardt checking with Drummond, who looks like he might be okay.
I think we're going to get a clipping call on number 86, the Jet. Cunningham tried to come back and set a block up. Let's listen to Jake Ireland.
Illegal block. Toronto number 86. Repeat first down.
Boy, an anxious time, though, as Drummond went down very awkward. And the diminutive Jimmy Cunningham called for the clip. Talked about Mike Moriali, the Hamilton guy. Here's another look at...
Right at the top of your screen, you see how he comes in. That's Cunningham trying to get a block on Greer. Does not get the helmet up in front. Illegal block and sets him back 10 yards.
1st and 20. And there's Clemens coming across. Tim Brown can't keep up with Mike Clemens. Tough guy to bring down, and they'll finally use 3 Cats to bring him down at the 49. And so Pinball's got most of the 20 back on that little dump play over the middle.
Mismatch anytime that you get a guy, a middle linebacker like Timmy Brown. Nothing knocking against him, but he just cannot keep up with the foot speed of Michael Clements. Runs the ball underneath, gives it to him short. Now he gives it to him quick enough before the defender gets on him. He can make the catch, get his eyes and his vision upfield, and then watch him go to show and show you exactly what he can do.
And Doug Flutie says that Mike Clements is his favorite one-on-one guy because he says there's nobody in the league that can cover him. Oh. Pinball couldn't get away from Flutie that time. That was pretty good coverage as Clements and Flutie collided, and that was the biggest hit of the game.
Take a look at Doug. He's going to look back over there. He thinks, is it my fault? He said, at least I decked him. I knocked him down. But he and Michael Clements just got their signals crossed up in the backfield. Doug thought he was going to step left and then come back to the right.
Oh, he knew.
On the counter, here it is, comes back, and he steps right back into him, and Michael just hits head on into Doug Flutie. Still almost picks up the first down.
Vanderjagt in. Rogers and Grigg are deep, and this will be Rogers letting it go into the end zone, and it's going to bounce out on him. They wanted to give up the single point. There is a no yards call of 5 yards, but the 49-yard punt is going to pin Hamilton deep.
Good play, but on this AstroTurf, as soon as that ball starts bouncing around, as you said, he was anticipating it going into the end zone, rolling all the way in there and giving up the single, but it does come out.
No yards. Toronto number 61. First down.
Looks like one of your pitching wedges.
I wish I could get a little action to bring the ball back like on that pitching wedge. Mine would have gone right through on the backside of the end zone. Urban Bowman, the special teams coach and defensive assistant head coach of the Hamilton Ticats, in there just injecting just a little bit of his opinion about the play.
Well, Marvin Graves and the Ticats had their work cut out for them to continue the domination of Hamilton over Toronto on Labor Day. Tyrone Rush, and he's nailed at the line of scrimmage, and That offensive line has been unable to open up many holes. Big Andrew Stewart was there to shut it down early.
Andrew Stewart, a free agent signing out of BC, been instrumental with this Toronto defensive line. Gets a great push up the middle. Quarterbacks cannot set in there, and you surely cannot run between the guards with a guy like Stewart in the middle.
Argo defense, #2 in the league against the pass and #2 in the league against the rush. 2nd and 7, final play of the quarter, and Greg has it go through his hands. Incomplete, and that just about sums up the way things have gone in this first quarter for the Hamilton Ticats, and the faithful are a little uneasy with the proceedings so far after 15 minutes. It's the Argos 10, the Tiger Cats no score.
Critics are calling the Spitfire Grill a classic in the making, a refreshing, upbeat story that's more emotionally satisfying than all the summer blockbusters combined. 4 stars, filled with Oscar-caliber performances. What a film should be: emotional, heartwarming, and entertaining. Make your reservation early for the Spitfire Grill. Now in select cities, starts Friday nationwide.
When people hear the Hendrick Motorsports team switch to Quaker State this year, they'll probably think Quaker State wrote us a big check. Well, that's not how it happened. First, it had to pass our camshaft test. Then it had to pass our dyno test. Then it had to pass a track test. Then they wrote us the big check.
And be sure to get your big check for $5 from Quaker State and Slick 50. See in-store coupons for details.
Thanks, William. You can park it out back.
Yes, sir.
Acura, designed with purpose, driven by passion.
Well, Don Matthews and the Toronto Argonauts just continue to roll. An impressive first quarter, and they will get the ball in what should be very good field position to start the second quarter, as Paul Osbaldiston is getting set to punt. Numbers for the first half indicate the domination, and no yards passing for the Ticats through the opening 15 minutes.
Well, that's got to tell you something right there. You look at it and you have to say, maybe this plan isn't working, and Coach Southern, maybe give Mike Kerrigan a chance to go in there. The thing that he brings to this game is the ability to read the defense. He has one of the strongest arms in the league. He can find the open area in the zones, and maybe just to create some positive things for your offense.
Bad enough when you're not moving the football. It's even worse when you're just giving it back to Doug Flutie to work with. And the Argos with the ball twice as much in that first quarter. Osbaldiston kicking into a stiffer breeze in this second quarter as the wind seems to have picked up from the 4 kilometers an hour at game time. 43-yard kick and no return. Don Whitman, James Curry, Mark Lee are standing by at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. The old rivalry, green and gold against red and white. The matchup that used to have Dan Kepley breaking out in a cold sweat.
It's amazing. It worked today. Just because I'm in Hamilton, it didn't stop from happening. You get like Pavlov's dog again. You get conditioned, the bell rings, you start to salivate, you start to sweat, your heart beats faster, and all you want to do is play in that game on Labor Day.
That's why I get nervous standing beside you.
The bark's a whole lot worse than the bite these days.
You saw 181 yards of offense in the first quarter. Doug Flutie had a hand in 173. And he dumps it off. This time Clements has nailed Donovan Wright. Hit Mike Clements as soon as he got his hand on the football, and just a short gain, maybe a couple for Clements.
One of the things that they want to do now defensively for Hamilton is they get Tim Brown out of the lineup for a second, put in Donovan Wright, who's a little better at coverage, obviously, and then when he throw that pass underneath, a guy like Wright with that good speed has an opportunity react, get up there, make a sure tackle against the slippery Michael Clemens.
Donovan Wright playing in his 100th CFL game today, most of them with the BC Lions. Second and long. Flutie, lots of time, and he has a completion into the Ticat territory, and that's Dimitrition with the catch. This is his first start in the CFL. Dwayne Dimitrition out of the University of Saskatchewan, a former Calgary Stampeder who was a teammate of Doug Flutie's last year.
Great opportunity for Dimitrition and also Morreale to get in there, work in this offense right now, because you never know when you're singled out to be the key receiver. Doug Flutie changes that up so much, he gets the ball to everybody.
And over the middle, he has another completion. This is a square-do, so Doug Flutie showing you that he's going to get everybody involved as quickly as possible. Tom Gerhardt with the tackle there, but it's a multiple weapon offense that Flutie runs.
And I think he does this on purpose. Obviously, this is my opinion, but when you send an Esquerdo in or you send a Dimitrition in, sometimes defenses have a tendency to ignore them, think they're going to be decoys or something. And the first thing Doug Flutie wants to do is say, I'll show you about this. I'm going to get on the ball. Maybe they can make a big play happen, just as we've seen in the last 2 plays.
6 different receivers he's thrown to already in the game, and it's just a couple of minutes into the second quarter. This time the rush is stuffed up the middle, and Clements, who has not run the football that much this year, is stopped up. Mike Philbrick in the middle for Hamilton.
Came into the game with only 31 carries, but it shows you the kind of confidence that Doug Flutie has, not only with Michael Clements, but with this offensive line being able to run. Michael Clements at 165 on 2nd and 1, 2nd and 2, when you've got a guy like Drummond that can line up in the backfield at 6'3", 220.
Third down, about a yard for the Argonauts. And it looks like Don Matthews will settle for 3. This will be a 46-yard attempt for Vanderjack. 51 his high for the year, and he has the wind at his back, so that shouldn't be a problem. Vanderjack, an Oakville native who says he's looking to improve that field goal percentage. And he hits his second of the day, 2 for 2. He's now 18 for 25 on the season. And the Argos expand their lead here early in the second quarter. It's 13-0.
This is one of the most amazing things in the world. You can cut it, shape it, fasten it together, make just about anything you want out of it, and be really proud of what you've done. At Home Building Centers, we buy big, with more stores providing building supplies to people all across Canada. No matter how big a job you're facing, we can help you handle it. Home Building Centers, we've got your lumber.
Take it on.
I think CBC News and current affairs people feel that our best moments happen when we help people understand change. I mean, there's all this talk about the information superhighway, and yet in this country there's so many places that don't even have roads. So when talking technology, you can't just talk about all the latest bells and whistles. You got to talk about human impact. How does it touch me? How does it affect my kids, my job? So many questions. And at CBC, we keep trying to get at the answers.
Well, there's some concern at the Argonaut bench. Robert Drummond, who we saw take it out of bounds and fell awkwardly, was out that series for the Argonauts. No report as yet how serious, but here's how it happened.
It's the last shot right at the last minute. Gerhardt takes a diving leap at the ankles of Drummond and just clips him out, and then he falls backside. So we're not exactly sure to the extent what that injury may be, Chris.
First down for the Tiger Cats, own 35-yard line, and the pass delivered low by
Great pass is incomplete.
Marvin Graves, and the intended receiver, Matt Cody, who has Been one of the most reliable receivers for the Ticats this year, but that was a tough catch.
Good pressure up front by this Toronto defense. Got right into the face of Marvin Graves, and the thing that he did, just doesn't have time to throw the ball, and he threw the ball way off balance, and it looked like he was really trying to force it into the hole.
0 for 4 and 1 interception, the line on Marvin Graves so far. Argos will go with a 3-man rush. Andrew Stewart in the middle, and here comes the blitz. They get it away, and there's Cody with the catch. So Graves and Cody do team up. Ed Berry, the defender for the Argonauts, and the placement will be crucial here. It's going to be close to the 45, and they had to get right to the 45. Looks like they're the length of the football short of a first down. And I don't think Don Southern's got a choice this early in the game, does he?
I don't think, as you see Cody working one-on-one against Ed Berry, sets down right in front of him. As Graves has enough time, reads the blitz, the offensive line does a good job of picking it up, then he just dumps it and he throws it right in front. Good spot by the officials, and now a big test for Dale Sanderson, the center, and Marvin Graves.
3rd and a foot. Noah Cantor in for the Argos, but Graves has it as he followed the right guard, Blaine Schmidt, center Dale Sanderson, and here's a first down, and the fans are up as their team finally moves the yardsticks.
Gets a standing ovation, the second first down, I believe, for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Look at this surge of the offensive line. You've got Dale Sanderson, the 12-year veteran, Blaine Schmidt, a 10-year veteran, and Jude St. John, the left guard, in his second year, getting a good explosion off the line of scrimmage, and all Graves has to do, fall right behind them, keep those legs driving, pick up the first down.
13-0 Toronto, 9:42 to go. There's a shovel pass, and Tyrone Rush has a hole up near midfield for Rush, and that's a pickup of close to 9. Courtney Griffin with the tackle, and an Argo slow to get up.
Tyrone Rush comes to the Hamilton Tiger Cats via the Montreal Alouettes. Good shovel pass inside. Excellent concentration by the big back out of North Alabama. Shows some power and some strength as he picks up 8 yards, make it 2nd and 2.
Alex Gordon is the injured Argonaut, and he has had some problems in that department this year. A knee problem in training camp and back spasms last week. He had 3 sacks against Ottawa, and they felt that he was just ready to come into his own. But right now, Gordon is on the carpet getting attention, and a timeout on the field at Iberwin Stadium in Hamilton.
Al?
Speaking.
It's Don.
The Donster.
It's about the car, Al.
Be here any day.
I'm buying a Nissan Altima instead.
Excuse me?
Altima, J.D. Power and Associates best entry midsize car and initial quality in the U.S.
Really?
Yeah, I'm financing it at 3.8%.
4.8.
No, Al, 3.8. Of course, I could lease it for $299 a month.
$3.99?
No, Al, $299.
Standard, right?
Automatic.
Doors?
Oh, yeah.
Both sides?
Both sides.
Roof?
Buying a new car? Compare first, buy second. The 1996 Nissan Altima.
Make it summertime every day of the year. Have a rib barbecue when your summer is here. Thinking summertime, you got Subway on your mind. For a bold taste as bullseye do your meal on your rib barbecue. It's such a great deal.
Extend your summer, 1 foot at a time. At Subway.
Make it summertime, you got rib barbecue and Subway on your mind.
Returning this season on CBC.
There is a tradition and a culture at the Fifth Estate. Aggressive, investigative journalism. There's a whole lot of people waiting like that to get us.
Marketplace probably couldn't exist were it not for the CBC.
We say, this is what's going on. Beware.
Venture, and of course, CBC was the first with this show to say it should be about the citizen as a part of the economy.
CBC. This year, more than ever, television to call our own.
Big Alex Gordon being escorted to the sidelines. And it looks like it's not that serious. Might see him back. Big mobile defensive lineman, and there it is. He just pulled up with a hamstring.
Exactly. As he turned and sprinted, he tried to get on the angle to get downfield and try to make a tackle. And you can see he pulled up all on his own. and that's a tough thing to do. You wouldn't think that would happen very much, particularly today, as warm as it is, as stretched out as the muscles are, to get a hamstring pull.
And you know, that's what happened to Anthony Cavillo, who was the backup quarterback to Matt Dunnigan. He's still a couple of weeks away after pulling a hamstring. Second down and 2 to 2.5 yards, and I'm not sure Tyrone Rush got there. It's going to be close.
I don't think he made it. That wasn't a very good surge, because one thing they do in the backfield, they line up with 3 guys back there, but 2 go in motion, at least 1 guy. The defense can really key on that 1 guy to carry the ball. Don Southern saying right there, hey, we got to go for it again. You did it the last time. We need a little shot in the tail. Let's get it going, pick up an offensive first down.
Yeah, this time it's 1.5 yards, though, so the task is that much more difficult for the coach, who has not had a 100-yard rushing game in almost a year. September 9th of last year, Derek McAdoo had 100 yards rushing. Third down for the power set. Rush left side, and his second effort, I think, carried him over. He was smacked right at the point where he had to get to by Ken Benson, and then spun off it for the first down.
Oh, baby, you talk about Labor Day and hitting and getting physical with games here. That old cliche that says there's no love lost, there certainly isn't. On that play there, Kenny Benson and also Reggie Gibbons absolutely laces Tyrone Rush. Great shot, but tremendous balance and leg strength is able to propel him forward to pick up the first down.
And the Cats are in Argo territory at the Toronto 53. Here's the fake to Rush, and Graves on a roll. Out to Cody in the flat. And Cody up the sidelines. As a pickup down to the 44 of Toronto. Ed Barry forced him out of bounds. You know, I got in the mood for the game just following a car into the parking lot here at Ivor Wynn. The license plate ETM space RA. Took a while, but
go ahead.
Eat them raw. And then I figured out that you must have spent some time in Hamilton, because that's how you would have spelled it.
I think there's a couple extra letters in there as far as the way I spell.
Great fans here, and they love tough, hard-nosed football. What they don't love is the score right now, 13-0 for the bad guys in blue.
But up to this point, other than an offense that has been totally dismal, other than the last couple of series, the fact is they're still in this ball game. The defense is holding them in. They're not giving up the big plays. They're forcing Doug Flutie to have to work the ball down the field.
It's a good down for them. It's second and about 1 yard, and they will go to the ground. Thought they might have taken the free down, and instead they lose perhaps a half yard on the play, and Mr. Southern's going to have to go gambling again for the 3rd time in the drive. It's 3rd and maybe 2 full yards.
I have a hard time with that decision in the play calling there. Second and about 1.5, 2nd and 2, and you take a real deep drop. You give it to the running back 5 yards deep in the backfield and have him try to find an opener, kind of like a zone play. What they talk about, they have the offensive line block zones, then the running back just has to find the crease. But this Toronto defense is so explosive off the ball. They got so much great penetration, there's nowhere to go.
Kep, I don't think they have stretched that defense at all since the interception he threw to Donald Smith in the opening series. Osbaldiston instead will try to pin the Argos deep. That's pin ball driven out of bounds by Jason Kaiser at the 11-yard line. So when we return, 6.5 minutes to go, first half, Argo football.
It's time to play the BF Goodrich TA Show 'em Your True Colors football contest. Guess who's going to win and by how much? You could win a set of 4 BF Goodrich TA tires or be eligible for our grand prize, a trip for 4 to the 96 Grey Cup. Call 1-900-870-2728 now.
Can you remember the way it used to feel when you believed in make-believe and fairy tales were real?
It's the 25th anniversary of Walt Disney World, and the most magical celebration ever begins at McDonald's, where you can sign up to be a part of it all and get one of 4 25th anniversary glasses, just $1.59 each when you buy any large sandwich like the new Arch Deluxe.
Remember the magic.
Think of this string as your life.
If you have diabetes, serious fluctuations in your blood sugar levels will not only determine how you live, but how long you live. At Shoppers Drug Mart, a Health Watch pharmacist can show you how to use a blood glucose meter, which can help you manage your blood sugar levels and reduce the chances of your life being cut short by the complications of diabetes.
There's still time to play the BF Goodrich TA Show 'em Your True Colors football contest. Tell us who's going to win today's game and by how much. You could win a set of 4 BF Goodrich TA tires or be eligible for a trip or 4 to the '96 Grey Cup. Lines are open till the end of the third quarter, so call now.
Back at Iberwin Stadium, 13-0 Argos, 6:30 to go in the first half. Here is Paul Mazzotti, who is well on his way to 1,000 yards, but rolled his ankle last week. How tough is it not to be playing in this game?
Oh, it's terrible. It's my hometown. It's the game you always think about all year, and it's a great sunny day, and it's packed. And the Ticats are the opposition, and I just can't believe I'm out.
Dream come true to play with Flutie?
Yes, it is. You know, he's obviously the best quarterback in the league, and it's just great to play with like that kind of talent.
As you say, though, Paul, stick around long enough to get to play with all the quarterbacks in the CFL. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Chris?
What a year he's had. 42 catches, 616 yards, and this time Flutie and Clemens do not connect. And it'll be 2nd and 10. There are the numbers for Doug Flutie, and he will almost certainly break the Argo team record held by Condredge Holloway back in 1982. Projections are often a little tricky because the yardage doesn't usually match up the second half of the year because of bad weather, but for Doug Flutie playing indoors at Sky Dome, he might be, and again, I mentioned he thinks he's getting better by the week with this offense.
I think he is. He's getting much more familiar with the receivers, and unfortunately, some of those key receivers have changed in the last couple of weeks.
He pulls it down, tries to get outside Justin Ring, and scrambles for the first down. What Doug Flutie was saying is at the start of the year, you get a new offense, and that you're doing things as they're drawn up in the playbook. Now he's starting to do things like this that are more instinctive.
Well, these are the kind of things that Doug Flutie does, and he's always done them, and people have watched him on television in amazement. The thing that he had to do was to get the rest of the offense used to him doing them. And once he does have them used to it, and once he realizes that once he breaks containment or gets out into the line of scrimmage, down the line of scrimmage, keep working, try to get open, because he will get the football to you somehow.
You saw Robert Drummond looking on, not back in. Flutie rolls right, and as a wide open receiver, that's Norm Casola, upended in Hamilton territory.
Flutie to Norm Casola.
Big gain for Casola, who is now yet another weapon that Doug Flutie's using.
They talk about Doug Flutie drawing it up in the dirt. Look, he tries to look like he's going to come inside, run the shovel pass on a counter play. Hamilton just forgets about Consola out there, leaves him wide open, and Doug Flutie, up on a play that looks like nothing when it originates, turns into a big play, keeps the drive alive on the Hamilton 50-yard line.
36-yarder. Casola, native of Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, and out of the University of Windsor-Lancer program. First down, handoff to Clements, and pinball, wrapped up, drops the football, and the Ticats finally get a break. They needed it, and it's Tom Gerhardt, the outside linebacker, that comes up with the football. Looked like Jesse Small stripped the ball away from the pinball.
This is what happens when you run Michael Pinball Clements a lot, and the effort that he's going to give you, because it's going to not only be a second and third effort, it's going to be a fourth, fifth, and a sixth effort. He's going to try to break tackles, get away from people, keep the legs pumping. Jesse Small does a great job of taking that right hand and wrapping it around Clements, knocking the ball loose, and have Gerhardt come up with a fumble recovery.
And that's what Don Southern was hoping for today. You know, they're undermanned, a lot of their starters out of the lineup, but he said if we play tough, physical Ticat football, things like that will happen. Oh boy, Rob Waldrop read that play. He was in the Ticat huddle, and he really unloaded on Ted Long for a big loss, so they changed the momentum with one big defensive play.
Had a chance to sit down and talk with Mark Nelson, the defensive line coach of Toronto, and he said, this guy is the one singular person that can dominate an offensive line. Waldrop has just been outstanding with his effort for the Toronto Argonauts in the '96 season.
Outland Trophy winner out of Arizona. who was deemed to be undersized to play south of the border, and he has been a big find for the Argos. 2nd and 16. Graves will throw the screen to Rush. And Rush is popped by Andrew Stewart. I'm not sure he got back to the original line of scrimmage. And the fans showing their displeasure with an offense that is just not moving the football.
The one thing that will kill any offensive team is to end up consistently in a 2nd and long situation. Toronto plays the zone defense. They're going to make them and force Hamilton to throw everything in front. And then when they do, they're going to use that great speed and pursuit to come in, make a game tackle on this guy, and force Hamilton to kick the ball away.
3:45 to play first half. And Paul Osbaldiston is back in. This one bouncing down to Cunningham near his 20. And nice defensive coverage by Dean Noel, who was the best man on specialty teams last week for Hamilton. Cunningham slow to get up after the 4-yard return and a 46-yard punt by Paul Osbaldiston.
Well, Chris, coming up on the BF Goodrich TA halftime report today, Matt Dunnigan struggled to get back into the Tiger Cat lineup. He's trying to overcome the effects of repeated concussions. He talked to us before the game today, made no commitment on a return. We'll go west to Calgary to try and gauge the mood prior to the game between the Eskimos and the Stamps, the second half of our Labor Day Classic, although I think we're safe in saying it's highly charged. Chris?
I think so. This guy knows all about it. First down and Flutie. To buy some time and now throws it in the dirt, and I think he was just getting rid of that. Cunningham was in the neighborhood, but
that's all he has to do. Throw it in the vicinity, and he's a smart quarterback. Don't force it in there. Line it up, make it 2nd and 10.
3-minute warning being given to the benches first half with the Argos on top.
The World Cup brings you the greatest moments in hockey. Now, Canadian Tire brings the World Cup into your store. The best sale prices on brand name equipment like Coho, Bauer, Cooper, CCL, Sherwood, Easton, Titan, and Jofa. Canadian Tire's World Cup of Hockey sale. It's here, it's now, and it's real. Canadian Tire. Everyday low prices made better.
If I won, well, I don't know what I'd do. I'm a pretty relaxed guy. I don't really get too excited about anything.
Just imagine Lotto 649.
If I won, I'd like to share with my family the best of everything, to enjoy all the things this country has to offer.
Just imagine Lotto 649.
If you ordered Buchanan windows this week, you become eligible to win a Buchanan Vacation Destination giveaway. That's after receiving up to 40% off quality vinyl replacement windows and insulated steel doors. It's our Dog Days of Summer sale, and what's more, we're celebrating our 20th anniversary of service. To honor that, we're offering 2 years to pay with no interest, same as cash. Up to 40% savings, 2 years to pay, no interest, and an opportunity to win a vacation getaway. A window savings package we're happy to bargain for.
You know, Kep, we were talking about the 91 Labor Day game. Mike Pinball Clements told me the other day that it was the low light of his career. He didn't even play in the game because of injury, and that day he got dressed, wasn't really thinking about it. Ended up putting on a nice black and gold suit. It was the worst mistake of his CFL career. He said he jinxed them. And he also has memories of this. You can see the Ticat mascot having some fun at the Argos' expense, but he said his wife has come here to the games and had beer poured on her. He says this is the rivalry he loves to hate.
All-out blitz coming. Doug Flutie, one-on-one coverage downfield.
Tyrone Williams can't squeeze it. He was popped by Derek Greer and couldn't bring it in.
Williams is incomplete.
Well, the defense holding up its end of the bargain in the second quarter for Hamilton.
And that's what they need to do, the kind of things when you have an offense that's sputtering and you know that if you play good defense, try to stop Doug Flutie or any offense 2 and out, get the ball back into your offense's hands as soon and as many times as you possibly can. Give them the opportunity to make something happen. Doug Flutie gets that pass right in the hands of Tyrone Williams. Excellent play. That time by Derek Greer, comes over, gets the shot in the mouth and knocks it loose.
And Don Southern has been very happy with the work of his corners. Was hoping Eric Carter would return to the CFL team, a cut that's now on a practice roster in the NFL, and they're again still waiting for Mike O'Shea, and you put those two guys on the Hamilton defense and it's one of the best in the CFL.
Well, Eric had a chance. He was re-signed by the San Francisco 49ers, the team that had released him. Mike O'Shea, obviously he's trying to play this to the best that he can. He made a great showing down there. He thought that he's going to have a chance to make the roster, see if he could get on the practice roster and at least get himself established. If that is not the case, Don Southern, as you said, felt absolutely comfortable that Mike O'Shea would come back and he would want to be a Ticat.
Vanderjagt on third down. Blasts a pretty good punt, and Sam Rogers has it. Rogers being chased down. Will he get around the corner? No. Terrific pursuit by Donald Smith. And that's a loss on the return of 3. 46-yard punt by Vanderjagt. And an injured Argo. Well, we've got 9 hours of CBC sports coverage for you today. Doubleheader action in the Canadian Football League. The Argos and the Tiger Cats, followed by the Stamps and Eskimos. And at 7 o'clock tonight, Bob Cole, Harry Neal, Scott Russell, John Garrett will bring you the World Cup of Hockey. The big matchup in the North American pool, Russia against the United States. Injured Argo down on the field. You're talking about Mike O'Shea. Don Southern talked to him this week and was trying to coax him, but understands O'Shea's position. He's going to give it till the end of the year to see if he can land a job down there. If not, he is back. But Southern did remind him that Monday was Labor Day, and that was almost enough to tempt Mike O'Shea.
That's dangling the big carrot right in front of anybody, particularly Mike O'Shea, the linebacker, who's been instrumental in a number of these Labor Day Classics.
Yeah, Southern was saying that he understands better than anybody what Mike O'Shea is trying to do. That's Rob Weir, who was shaken up on the last play. But Southern understands because he did the same thing. He came up to Canada, played in 58, went back down to the States and tried to land an NFL job in 59 and 60. Came back and had a Hall of Fame career in the Canadian Football League.
It really is awfully hard to explain what it means to play in this classic, whether you're in the East or the West, it doesn't matter. The rivalries are there, whether you're Saskatchewan and Winnipeg playing every Labor Day weekend. It is so inspirational, you start thinking about it at the first day of training camp.
2:35 to go. First half, it's 13-0 Toronto. And Marvin Graves trying to get things going and misses a wide open Ted Long over the middle. Well, here's a guy that was not in the Ticat training camp, has only been here for 3 weeks, and there is plenty of rust being shown here in this Ticat offense being led by Marvin Graves.
It's a first and long situation, 1st and 10. Toronto does show some zone again. Don Matthews has been known to play in a lot of get after your tail man-for-man defense, but he says, I've got guys in there like Wilson, Barry, those guys, they're better coverage guys, so I will play coverage and force the quarterback to hold the ball longer, and my guys up front will get after him.
2nd and 10, they're going to get after Graves now, gets it away and does find Long, and Long will turn it upfield for a first down. At the 52-yard line, Courtney Griffin hanging on as Long moves the yardsticks for Hamilton. And you know what? I mean, this offense hasn't shown they can drive yet, but if they put points on the board, it's tight at the half.
You can do a few plays like this and start to get that defense to have to react, come up, and then sooner or later, you're going to hit one play. You're going to hit a seam route somewhere. You're going to get behind a linebacker, get a step on a defensive back, and then it's up to Marvin Graves to deliver the mail on the money to somebody and come up with the big play.
First down, draw play. Tyrone Rush, the former Alouette, hops over one man and dances into Argo territory. That's close to another first down. Reggie Gibbons, Adrian Smith converging on Rush.
Terrific play up front, offensive line. They're trying to create a situation, run the draw play inside. Now you got to get those big bodies on big bodies. And take a look, that's number 67, Roosevelt Patterson. Absolutely levels a couple of guys out there and enables Rush to pick up that yardage. Second and about a half.
Patterson moving into this Hamilton lineup, new acquisition, and there's Graves diving for the first down. So they move the sticks, 1:41 to go. And Hamilton's offense is slowly getting on track.
But the key for the young quarterback, he's taking a look on the sideline over there. What a great feeling it must be that the guy that's behind you, that's giving you some signals and giving you some conversation every time you come off the field, is one of the best quarterbacks that's played up here for the Hamilton Ticats, and Mike Kerrigan.
Quarterback coach, kind of the offensive coordinator, at least one of a couple of men in that position. Graves pulls it down. And Marvin Graves down to the 36. I don't know if that fake pass once you're over the line of scrimmage does much, but
I can tell you, when he starts to fake it, he's going to hold that ball out, and he's still going to continue to run. That defense of Toronto is going to knock that thing loose or take Marvin Graves' head off. When you know that you're going to make the decision, boom, now you've gone by it. You're past the line of scrimmage, tuck that thing away, get your head up, feel. That's not going to do anything. Lower it down, get down on the ground, and then line it up. Second and about 1.5.
Courtney Griffin the tackle there, and now Graves again rolls off the pile for another first down. 59 seconds to go, and now you're in scoring position, and Don Southern's got a chance to salvage the half.
Come away with something right before this half. If it happens to be a field goal, that's fine. But the big thing I feel right now, Marvin Graves, be patient. Don't try to force anything in there. Don't try to come up with a big home run ball. Toronto's not going to give you that. They're going to force you to have to march it down the field, nickel and dime them.
Benson comes out. Don Wilson checks back in. And Alex Gordon has not returned to the Argo defensive alignment. First down, clock running. 43 seconds to go. Graves just dumps it off. That's Rush. And Rush did well to get to the 30 and a pickup of 5. Reggie Gibbons the tackle. And Don Southern wants them to hurry it up here.
Got to get it in there. Hurry up offense. Try to get it on there. On the line of scrimmage. Initially, see, they're wasting some precious seconds here. They should be lined up on the line of scrimmage, and he should be taking that. As soon as the play is whistled in, take the snap.
2nd and 5. From the pocket, wide open, over the middle. And that is Andrew Martin down at the 21-yard line. They'll move the sticks. And a timeout being called. Check that. That was Tyrone Rush out of the backfield with the catch. 15 seconds to go, and Don Southern will have a chance to confer with Marvin Graves and Mike Kerrigan along the sidelines. But they've got a chance here to go for the end zone a couple of times.
Well, you either got to try it a couple of times, work this clock, and the main thing is, if they can't get it in the end zone after that, come away with at least 3 points here. Get something to build on going into the locker room at halftime.
Well, we're approaching halftime. Dave Sapunja's taking it in, watching his old teammate along with Mark Lee. We'll hear from those two in our halftime. And also get an update on Matt Dunnigan's situation. He's also at that Tiger Cat sideline.
Yeah, but you know that conversation between those two guys. That's old quarterback against receiver, you know. They're talking that intimate stuff about how things are run, patterns are run, and how the spiral was always there.
You telling me Lee's boring him with those Carlton Ravens stories?
I think he's still holding on to that a little bit, that heel-toe kind of quarterback.
First down, quickly out in the flat to Bert Thornton. That didn't go anywhere, and he didn't get out of bounds, so not much done there. And now they've got a choice. Do they just get the field goal done, or does he gamble and try and get one more play in?
You got one more chance, I think. You can get on the line of scrimmage just as they are, make the play. You got to throw the ball out of bounds, and you've got to stop the clock. And he's not doing it.
Clock is running, and this will have to do. Graves throwing in the end zone, wide open, touchdown! How about that, Matt Cody? unusual time management, but you gotta like the end result.
Go big or go home when you come to Hamilton on Labor Day, and that's exactly what Marvin Graves did. The time ran out on the clock right before he took the snap. He knew he only had one play, and just take a look at Cody working against Ed Berry. Now they're in the zone, but they forget about him. He runs behind, gets behind the Mako, and then the great thing about it, the offensive line of the Ticats gave Graves enough time to stand in that pocket, find Cody open, and deliver a strike.
Osbaldiston the extra point. It was all Argos in the first half, but Don Souther's team scores as the clock runs out. And so at the end of 30 minutes of football at Ivor Wynne, it's 13-7 Toronto.
BF Goodrich TA tires are for people who look at driving like no one else. BF Goodrich. Show them your true colors.
What'll you do with the money you save at Speedy?
I saved so much of my brakes, I'll never have to stand here watering these flowers again.
If you need brake work, bring your car to Speedy, because right now, you won't have to pay for 6 months. Just another reason why at Speedy, you're a somebody.
Saved $38 on my brake and took the boys to the zoo.
And remember, every Speedy brake specialist is an ABS licensed mechanic.
Nice doggy.
Speedy for brakes, Speedy for savings. Guaranteed.
Hey, Coach. Yeah? I can't get my helmet on.
From the land of sunshine.
What's a bobsled? That's a bobsled.
Comes the greatest long shot.
It's kind of a winter sport, you know. You mean winter as in ice?
In Olympic history.
What country? Jamaica. The Jamaican bobsled team, sir.
John Candy.
Oh, goody.
Cool Runnings. September 15th on CBC. Returning this fall on CBC. Canadian comedy at its best.
No cameras!
With this hour as 22 minutes.
Nuts is an understatement.
The sizzling stand-up of comics.
I'm childless, except for this boy that I'm dating.
And Royal Canadian Air Force.
I give it a thumbs up. You betcha.
Tell me about it.
Oh yeah.
CBC, television to call our own.
I drive over 100,000 miles a year, and CBC has become a pretty important part of my life. It gives me more of an appreciation for other parts of the country. This is my source of information. I feel like it's my radio station. Thanks for keeping me company on my travels and keeping me entertained. CBC is part of my world.
60 years of CBC Radio. Radio to call our own.
Welcome to the BF Goodrich TA Halftime. Now, here's your host, Scott Oak.
30 minutes complete here in Hamilton. The Argos were pitching a shutout, but the Cats have closed to within 6. Welcome to the BF Goodrich TA Halftime Report. Here's a statement of fact. Ticats are built around their quarterback. With Matt Dunnigan, they were 4-1 to start the season. Without him, they're 4-5, and it's unclear when or if Dunnigan will return to the Hamilton Tiger Cats lineup and, in fact, the CFL. There are inherent risks in full contact sports. As players become bigger, faster, and stronger, the risks become even greater. A shot to the head can literally rattle an athlete's brains. It's known as a concussion, and the cumulative effect of them can end careers. That's what happened to Brett Lindros, a burgeoning young hockey star. Doctors told him one more concussion could result in paralysis. Lindros wisely retired. In the 80s, Turner Gill, a promising young quarterback with Montreal, was forced to retire after he suffered 3 concussions in one season. Now in the 90s, Matt Dunnigan, who's taken his share of punishment in a brilliant 14-year career, is struggling to overcome the effects of concussions. He suffered anywhere from 6 to 12 in his career, 2 this year. And this is the one that's had him sidelined for a month. Not a graphic or classic bell ringer, but perhaps because of the cumulative effect, the toughest to shake.
They see changes in cognition, and by that I mean memory, concentration, personality. You may notice a person's more irritable. Their judgment may be impaired a little, so a top-notch quarterback who may need to use split-second judgment to decide on a play or something may not have that extra high level of thought that they once had.
Those closest to Dunnigan since he suffered his last concussion say he's not been himself. The Ticats say his return is in his hands. The question is, will Dunnigan ever return? Matt Dunnigan is on the sidelines today trying to help the Ticats offense in an advisory capacity. He did take a few moments to talk to us prior to the start of this Labor Day Classic. Matt, is there any doubt in your mind that you'll return, or is it just a matter of time?
I wish I could answer that, Scott. I'm waiting for the test results to come back. Some of them come back. Still have to see an ophthalmologist. One of the tests noticed that I had a problem with my peripheral, and God knows I need my peripheral in the pocket, and I want to get that looked after. Other than that, I'm just chomping at the bit, you know, to get all the cards on the table so I can make a sound decision. And
well, you talked to Roger Staubach, Dallas Cowboys quarterback, who was forced to retire because of concussions. What did he tell you? Roger
just he was just supportive in the fact that, you know, get as many opinions as possible and put it all out there and take your time. He says he's talked to Merrill Hodge and Al Toon, and, you know, says those guys are still reeling from their situations. And he says, you don't want to be like that, man. He says, you know, if I was 32, I said I probably would have continued to play. And he said, but I was 38 at the time and had to call it quits. He said he wanted to go out on his own terms, but he couldn't. And it was just good to talk to somebody who's been there, done that, and I thanked him for the opportunity that I had with him. Well, almost 19 years ago when I was a 7th grader, and I jumped up in front of him, and I thanked him again for his time.
Let me ask you this, Matt. You know, you've got a young family. The risks after repeated shots to the head are great. Are you prepared to face those and coming back, if you can come back?
Oh yeah, you know, it's a contact game, and it's a contact sport, and you have to look at those things. You know, Kathy's been asking me to hang it up since day one. You know, she sees me get hit and she wants me to quit the game. So the comments that she made in the paper a while back were nothing new. You know, that was old news to me. I fight that battle day in, day out with her. But I look at my kids, and I certainly don't want to feel this way, you know, for any length of time. You know, a month is certainly long enough. And my clarity's good now. I'm just trying to get back to a mode where I can do some things physically, Scott, and I'm not there yet, but under doctor's orders, no doubt, and just want to get the release, and I want to get everything on the table and make a sound decision. And it's frustrating because you see opportunities like this.
Yeah, in this game especially.
Yeah, and, you know, I knew it was going to be tough this week. Just, you know, week in, week out, with the just different injuries we've had in this football club, it's tough to see it falling apart and not being able to do anything about it.
All right, Matt, I thank you for your time. I just would say this. I thought we might come here today and see you with a different haircut and out on the field, but that's not the way it is.
Take a shot at me, huh, Scott? That's okay. That's
all right, good luck.
All right, man. We'll see you. Yeah.
Well, he looks good, sounds fine, but no commitment on a return from Matt Dunnigan. It's Marvin Graves at the controls for the Cats today, and the Argos lead 13-7 at halftime. We're halfway through this classic, and the Ticats with a late touchdown trying to hold up their end of the bargain. The showpiece game of the CFL season in Alberta is about 90 minutes away from starting. The province just isn't big enough for the loser of this one to hide. Let's go to Calgary now and check in with Mark Lee.
Thanks, Scott. There's McMahon Stadium, all dressed up and ready to open the gates for the annual football pilgrimage on Labor Day here in Alberta. This day 1 year ago, the respected Edmonton defense was in disarray. First, Glenn Rogers Jr. is thrown out of the game for kicking Dave Sapungis. Then, the secondary is decimated by injury. Darian Hagan and then Trent Brown both go down. Jeff Garcia goes for the jugular, passing for 6 touchdowns and 546 yards through the air. Sapungis on his way to becoming the CFL's outstanding Canadian pillaging and Edmonton defense that was patched together. The Stamps winning handily 51-26. And Dave Sapungis good enough to join us about an hour and a half before kickoff. I mentioned the Glenn Rogers Jr. incident. What is it about this game that brings out the best and the worst in players?
Well, it's always an intense game. We always have a sellout crowd here. Provincial bragging rights, I guess. And I think Edmonton and Calgary, traditionally in the 7 years that I've been playing, we've always been the top 2 teams in the Western Division. We always play each other 3 times, so there's a lot of bitterness between the 2 clubs, and when you hit the field, you always look forward to playing each other, and you know it's going to be an emotional game.
Let me ask you this. Is this club as good under Garcia as it was under Flutie?
Absolutely. I think Jeff has proved that he is already a great quarterback. He's playing with experience. He throws the ball extremely well to the wideouts. Probably throws the ball deep as good, if not better, than any quarterback I've seen in the league. And it sure is a pleasure playing for both Flutie and Jeff.
All right, Dave, good luck.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
Dave Sapungis, the Stamps and the Eskimos in the Labor Day Classic coming up in about an hour and a half from now here at McMahon. Scott, back to you now at Ivor Wynne.
Mark, thank you. We look forward to the Stamps and Eskimos, the Argos and Ticats. Meanwhile, at halftime, here are Chris and Kep. And Chris, what a strange first half. Looked like the Argos in a rout for the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, I actually had to double-check the score at the end of the half because Kep, it felt like it was all Argos, but it's a 6-point game.
It really is. That the Argos have had the opportunity to move the ball up and down the field. This Hamilton defense has really stood up and snuffed out a lot of those drives.
And early, the touchdown by Pinball Clements. The Argos were rolling on offense, but it was the final play of the first half that got the Ticats back in it.
Great offensive series, running the ball down the field, controlling the ball, and then the offensive line giving Graves enough time to find Cody behind the coverage for the major score right before the half.
And Scott, 2 injuries I think were key. Robert Drummond and Alex Gordon both out seem to have switched the momentum a bit.
Yeah, and until Marvin Graves threw that late touchdown pass, I was betting we'd see Mike Kerrigan to start the second half, but not now. So that's the BF Goodrich TA halftime report. Argos are 30 minutes away from just their 3rd Labor Day victory over the Ticats in 10 years.
BF Goodrich TA tires are for people who look at driving like no one else. BF Goodrich. Show them your true colors.
In the wind and the rain, I found myself, though I was never really lost. It took me this long to realize I was looking the wrong way. Unfortunately, our eyes look out at the world, not in it ourselves. So even though at this time I find myself on this road, there are at least as many roads as there are people. And through the wind and the rain, the thunder roars.
Make it summertime every day of the year. Have a rip-it-kill when your summer is here. Thinking summertime, you got Subway on your mind. For a bowl of taste, add bullseye to your meal. On your rip-it-kill, it's such a great deal.
Extend your summer, 1 foot at a time. At Subway.
Make it summertime, you got Ribby Q and Subway on your mind.
You know a television series that's doing its job when your viewers tell you they get caught up in the lives of the characters, that they really want to know what's going to happen next. CBC dramatic series have always been inspired by the hopes and dreams, problems and accomplishments of all kinds of Canadians, living from one end of this country to the other. These series entertain us with a unique Canadian style of storytelling. And there's really only one place you can find them. That's on CBC.
Imagine if you were pregnant. I think I might be. You're gonna do it all. Family, school, everything. I won't be coming back next year. You can say it, you know. I'm gonna do what you suggested. An abortion.
Liberty Street. Reality Bites back Tuesday.
Nice to meet you.
As the National embarks on a new season, Rex Murphy travels across the country asking that most difficult of questions. What is Canada?
Canadians are really proud of their difference.
In Search of Ourselves begins Tuesday on CBC.
The CFL on CBC. Brought to you by BF Goodrich. Show them your true colors.
Welcome back to Ivor Wynne Stadium. Kept just a guess, but I think these two have been to a couple of Labor Day games.
I bet they have. And this is in Hamilton. It's not set just on Labor Day. really has just exemplified with Labor Day. But when you come to Hamilton and you play here at any point in time, I can remember at the latter part of the season, Coach Campbell would always say, fellas, leave your helmets on all the time. There's no telling what you're going to get hit up against your head with.
Yeah, it's Labor Day, and there are a couple Argo fans. There's one trying to show himself in this sellout crowd, or close to a sellout, as we get set for the second half. And Mark Crombeen is seeing his first action in the CFL because of the injury to Osbaldiston. He cannot do the long kickoffs, and the youngster out of McMaster and a Hamilton native gets a taste of what Labor Day's all about.
It's a little bit of that movement with the side-winding kick. And the youngster's, he's a little excited. You got to wait for the whistle before you get it out. He thought he was going to catch him off guard. This whole Hamilton team pretty inspired after that Cody touchdown right before the half.
Play again. Hamilton.
Oh, we thought he jumped the gun, but apparently the Ticats charged with delay of game. Well, Mark Crombeen will remember his first play in the Canadian Football League. Asked Paul Osbaldiston before the game how the youngster was doing, because he might have to attempt a field goal or two in this game. And Osbaldiston said he was remarkably cool under the circumstances. And he kicks it off, and Mike Clemens fields that one neatly on one hop and is out to the 48-yard line. A flag goes down as Clemens hit the turf. Tom Gerhardt leading the surge downfield. A 20-yard return for Mike Clemens.
Illegal block. Toronto number 28. First down.
Dwayne Dimitrition called, and there are the stats at the half. And as you can see, the Argos over double in net yards. But the time of possession really turned around in that second quarter, didn't it?
It did, right at the second half of the second quarter, when Hamilton was able to maintain and sustain a few possession drives, keep the ball in their hands one, and not give it back to Doug Flutie.
9 minutes, 40 seconds. Hamilton had the ball in the second quarter, and that meant it was out of Doug Flutie's hands as Mike Philbrick and the Ticat defense get set. First down, Flutie rolling to his left, and Tyrone Williams hanging on, fighting for that football with Daryl Sampson. And he has a catch close to a first down, and boy, the Argos are high on Ty Williams, who makes his first catch of the day. Look at that pass distribution. Now there are 8 receivers with catches from Doug Flutie today, as Williams gets on the board first in the second half.
And that's what puts so much strain on the defense. A guy like Doug Flutie, who moves the ball around that much. Hamilton's defense just can't concentrate on just one guy, whether it's Drummond, whether it's Cunningham. Everybody's touching the football today.
It's almost as if Flutie knows he's got to get Williams in the game, or they like the play of Ty Williams this year. Flutie rolling the other way and turns the corner. Down the sidelines and out of bounds. And Doug Flutie showing you why he's a top 10 rusher in the CFL this afternoon.
Doug Flutie does a great job when he can get outside and force the corner, puts a lot of strain on the secondary of any defense to play against this guy. J.P. Esquerdo's out there, does a great job sealing off the corner, and as soon as Doug Flutie makes his mind up, he tucks it under the arm and goes and picks up the first down.
Well, he has not participated in a Labor Day game in the East before, but he said he knew this would be the most emotional game of the regular season, and the emotions might just be starting here. Michael Philbrick trying to track him down, and Flutie just gets rid of the ball, and they are going to call it intentionally grounding, and that's a tough call because Clemens wasn't that far away from the football. Clearly, Flutie was trying to get rid of it, but there was a receiver in the neighborhood.
Michael was there. There's no doubt about that. I think at some point, Doug has to make a judgment call of how good he has to make this look to not get grounding called on him. But at the last minute, as Philbrick's just pounding down on him, he knows he's going to throw it right down in the ground. Michael Clemens is about 5 or 6 yards away from that throw. And Doug Flutie obviously negotiated a very good deal on the sideline, because now the referee that threw the flag obviously was told that Michael Clemens was in the vicinity, in the area. He wasn't looking downfield, so therefore now they have a contact penalty against the Hamilton Ticats.
Boy, that adds insult to injury. Speaking of injuries, We're told that middle linebacker Tim Brown out of the game with a pulled hamstring. Joe Montfort was the middle linebacker last week. He's out with an ankle. And Don Southern's got to find another middle linebacker, and he knows the phone number of the guy he wants by the name of O'Shea. First down. Flutie wide open, Tyrone Williams, and he's down inside the 15. So Williams shut out in the first half, has a couple of early catches in the second. Sam Rogers brings Big Ty Williams, the native of Halifax, to the turf.
Not a lot of fancy stuff to this play. Doug Flutie, all he does, takes the ball, drops straight back, just to the right of your screen. Ty Williams is going to get behind the coverage, runs a seam route right down the middle. Number 30 is Sam Rogers. Late safety getting there. Doug Flutie throws the ball on the money, and this is what hurts you the most. Right after you have that great inspirational drive going in before halftime, Doug Flutie comes out and puts your fire out.
Looking in the end zone, and he overthrows Clemens. And Flutie was nailed by Mike Campbell after delivering the football. So it'll be 2nd and 10.
Talking to some of the guys yesterday, Mike Campbell is without a doubt the leader on this defense. If he gets it going and when he speaks in that huddle, people listen to him. Could have been called for a late hit there. The ball was released in downfield about a second after that. Campbell got away with one.
2nd and 10. And coming across, Jimmy Cunningham, first down, and he's upended near the 1-yard line. Touchdown saving tackle by Derek Greer. Boy, Cunningham is quick. The jet coming across the middle.
Just from the left of your screen, everything looks, watch Doug Flutie, he's looking, everything's starting to drag. Under and over route, 2 receivers inside cross, and he just gives it short to Jimmy Cunningham, gets it to him quickly so that he can make that catch, get his vision upfield, and make something happen after the catch.
Brett Young is down. He's just returning to the lineup, holding on to the right knee. Divisional All-Star last year. They're also missing Gary Lewis out of the secondary. You can just about go down position by position, and the black and gold are missing somebody.
Well, it's the same thing. Sudsy talked about that, Coach Southern talks. He said, but I'm not going to harp on my injuries. And Matthews said the same thing. He's got guys that are out too. He's got 4 Canadian starters that are out. Pierre Bercheval, the guard. Dan Murphy, the safety. Now you got Fairholmes, who retired with the back injury. You got Mazzotti. You've got guys like that. You can't miss people like that out of your lineup without it having some kind of effect. It's up to the other guys on the team to rise up to another level and to be able to take on a little extra responsibility.
Here's how it happened to Young as he converged on Cunningham along with Derek Greer. Jason Kaiser has checked in, and he'll take Young's spot. But the Argos have come right out here in the second half and reestablished the momentum they had for most of the first half, and that offense looking good even without Robert Drummond, who left the game in the first half, and we're not sure what the nature of the leg injury is.
It's a scary thought to think when you can lose that kind of athlete out of your backfield and you still are a very productive, threatening offense.
I might be the most disappointed about Drummond being out is Pinball Clemens, because after a game or two of getting used to not being the running back for the Argos, he really enjoys now being the receiver. He really enjoys it the day after the game, because he isn't hurting as much as a receiver. Well, this is not looking good for Brett Young being helped up. And coming up next, Don Whitman, James Curry, Mark Lee, Ron Lancaster's Edmonton Eskimos, Wally Buono's Calgary Stampeders. It is always a memorable matchup at McMahon Stadium, and they'll pack the house there today.
Brett Young just getting a chance to come back into the starting lineup. Part of the trade that sent Steve Taylor, the quarterback, to Ottawa.
Yep, no relief in sight for the Tiger Cats, and here are the Argos, 1st and goal on the 1, trying to punch it in. Flutie will do it himself. Touchdown, Toronto. Doug Flutie has his 8th touchdown of the season, and the Argos open up a little breathing room and give the Argo fans who have come down the QEW from Toronto something to cheer about here.
Doug Flutie just jumps behind Mike Kislak and Chuck Bradley on the left-hand side. Keeps those legs pumping, gets in, doesn't hit the turf. That's exactly the way you want to do it. Big completion to Tyrone Williams, set that touchdown up.
Vanderjagt to add the extra point. It is good. Argos led 13-0 in the first half and now have reestablished the 13-point lead. Toronto, the 20-7 lead after the touchdown by Doug Flutie.
Established their 13-point lead. Here's Ty Domi, closest thing the Toronto Maple Leafs have to a two-sport man. Kicked a 28-yarder field goal for the Argos in the preseason. Could you make a 40-yarder today?
Oh, I don't know this win. I just come out to support the Argos and just happy to be here. And it's a great league, and it's great to see a lot of support.
Quickly, Ty, what'd you think of the scare that Team Canada got from Slovakia last night in the World Cup of Hockey?
Well, that's just the way it goes, but they'll be there when the chips are all on the line. They'll be there.
All right, Ty, thanks for your time. Chris, back to you.
And a single point as Sam Rogers misplayed the kickoff from Vanderjagt and wisely gives up an extra point. So it's 21-7 on the 88-yard kickoff for a single as Doug Flutie dusts himself off after the touchdown pass and the 7-play drive for the TD to open the second half.
As I said, the big killer there, the miscue in the secondary of Hamilton allowed Williams to get right down the field. And wait, let's clear something up too. Toronto's not that silly either to come down to Hamilton. They brought Ty Domi down here for a reason, in case the fight breaks out. That guy wears blue and white, I can tell you that.
So the Ticats will start at their own 35, and Marvin Graves has given it up. It's an interception, and this will be a touchdown for Adrian Smith as he picks off Graves in the flat, his 4th pick of the year, and it's a touchdown, Toronto. Both the corners have interceptions today. Donald Smith on the first series of the first half, and now Adrian Smith goes 43 yards with the interception for a touchdown.
Now watch this throw. It's just a hitch screen. Now he steps, he's going to throw it, but he throws the ball up the field. So he throws it up into the defender who's making a break on the ball, and Adrian Smith does an excellent job. Great break, good concentration, and then he takes the walk into the home for the major score.
Well, the corners both have their 4th interceptions of the year. Defense has some points on the board, and now I don't have to double check the scoreboard because it kind of reflects the way the afternoon's gone. Vanderjagt adds an extra point, and it's been all Toronto in the second half. Touchdown by Flutie, touchdown by Adrian Smith, a single point on the kickoff, and a 15-point explosion in just over 4 minutes.
Well, this is exactly why the Toronto Argonauts are having the success that they are this year. This is a well-rounded team, completely balanced. Offense is powerful. Their defense is now starting to catch up to the kind of play that their offense is putting on the field. And their special teams are really excelling in what they do. Jimmy the Jet creating good field position, and then you get Vanderjagt, and his kicking has really come on strong in the last 5 to 6 weeks.
Well, it's been tough sledding for the Tiger Cats of late. The last 2 games outscored 82-18 by the 2 teams that are set to tangle next. Calgary with a 47-10 win over Don Southern's team, and then 35-8 last week to Edmonton. Without Dunnigan, without Calvin Tiggle, and a number of others, this has not been the same team that opened up the season with 3 straight wins and a victory over the Argos. Don Southern's team's the only one that's beaten Toronto this year. You know, I talked to Mike Moriali the other day, and he said the thing about Don Matthews is he has convinced us we're not going to lose again this year.
Well, I think that's what he has done. I've had the opportunity back in the old days of playing for Don Matthews, and I know that he instills that kind of vision and focus on the whole ball club. You can go out there, you can have as much fun as you want, but when it comes time to walk between the lines and the whistle blows, get the job done.
They may have to concede another single here, and Rush does. So mishandled kickoffs back-to-back, and the fans here in Hamilton won't stand for that. First an 88-yard single, now an 80-yard single off the foot of Vanderjagt. Well, here's how the scoring unfolded so far today. Vanderjagt opened it with the 30-yard field goal, then Flutie led the offense down in that little shovel pass to Clemens for a touchdown. Argos marched again, but had to settle for a Vanderjagt field goal. Final play of the first half, it was the 20-yard touchdown pass from Graves to Cody. And then in the second half, the 1-yard plunge by Flutie, the single on the kickoff, the 43-yard interception return, another kickoff single. And it is 29-7. Graves, Ted Long drops the ball. And that's the kind of execution that you'd expect the Hamilton Ticats could get on track on.
Ted Long, who came over from the Birmingham Barracudas in the dispersal draft, just trying to make a move before he catches the football. Very simple. Catch the ball first, concentrate on that, then make the move and turn up. He knew that he was going to get really stroked by either Givens or Benson in the middle, and he decided to take his eyes off that ball.
No, there's been a litany of injuries, but we may not have underscored the fact that both the starting wideouts, Earl Winfield and Marcus Grant, out of the lineup today. And Graves in trouble again, and down he goes. Reggie Gibbons, the middle linebacker out of Penn State, send Graves to the turf, and with the momentum shift, the speculation of Mike Kerrigan's entry into the game will start anew.
This is one player in Givens that Coach Matthews has said has really elevated his play to another level. He is playing as well as anybody he has seen in this league. That is his second sack of the season. But what he does is he plays great pass defense. He's excellent on the rush as being able to be a pass rusher, but then he can also roam with that speed of his from sideline to sideline.
Rush on Osbaldiston, they get to it. That's a free ball. Cooper Harris is after it. Ticats will knock it out of play to save the touchdown, but it goes from bad to worse. Nice play by Dean Noel there. Safety touch. But Dean Noel saved the touchdown after the punt block.
Take a look at this. That's Donnie Wilson coming right up the middle. Nobody's going to touch him. Somebody's got to step up and step in front of it. Put your helmet right in the middle of Don Wilson's chest. They're not going to do that, so Donnie says, hey, to heck with it. I'm going to block this thing. But as you said, Chris, heads-up play by Dean Noel, saved from a touchdown being scored by the Toronto special team.
Yep, better 2 than 6. And Noel knocked it out of bounds for the safety. It's 31-7. And the Ticats, a team that ended the first half with that emotion-charged touchdown to Matt Cody, have let all the emotion escape from this stadium in this second half, and we played just 5 minutes and 28 seconds of this third quarter.
Well, you have to think also that Don Matthews and the Toronto offense must have had some very serious conversations in at halftime. They couldn't be very happy with the way they were actually moving the ball up and down the field and not getting it in and coming away with some points.
Boy, a tale of two coaches right now. A couple of guys going in opposite directions on the scoreboard today and in the standings. Bean getting set to kick off. He'll do it from the 35 after the safety. And Jimmy Cunningham misplaced the ball, but gets it back to the 18-yard line. So good coverage downfield by the Tiger Cats. That's one of the few positive plays. Let's take another look. Oh, we'll take a timeout here with 9:27 left, third quarter. Argos on top.
It's time to play the B.F. Goodrich TA Show 'em Your True.
We're back at Iberwin Stadium in Hamilton, the home of the 1996 Grey Cup game. Toronto Argonauts making every indication under the offensive direction of Adam Rita, Paul Massotti and Jeff Fairholm up in the booth as well, that they intend on visiting Hamilton again this year at the end of November. And of course, just down the road, I drove by the Hall of Fame today. I saw the moving vans are out there. Apparently a new tenant moving in. Congratulations, Mr. Kepley. Well deserved and a little overdue.
Thank you very much.
Here's Flutie in the flat. Penalty flag down. And so is J.P. Esquerdo in front of the Ticat bench at the 25.
They get a holding call against Dan Payne.
So double trouble for the Argos.
And this is what Don Matthews will get worried about at some point, that you have a big lead, 31-7, 9:03 left to go. He wants to see his team be able to execute.
Toronto number 81, decline, holding. Toronto number 57, repeat first down.
To be able to execute for 60 straight minutes. That's what you have to do to become a champion, and that's what he needs to do. Right guard, just at the top of your screen, Dan Payne on number 99, Michael Philbrick. It's a good takedown. It's 2 points. It's there for the Toronto Argonauts.
Well, he's an old wrestler from the Seoul Olympics, so he knows all about that. First down over, and Flutie steps out of the end zone and looking deep, and Jimmy Cunningham dove and just out of his outstretched hands, and Doug knows that one was maybe 110 yards downfield. Just that close.
Jason Kaiser, the guy that just came in to replace the injured Brent Young, gets caught up in upfield, and the jet almost ran by him. But take a look at the all-purpose yards that these guys are turning out. 3 of the Toronto Argonauts in the top 5 in the CFL.
And we'll see the next 2. And from Edmonton and Calgary next. Terry Vaughn and Eric Blunt in action in the second half of our doubleheader. There's Cunningham over the middle on second and a whole bunch. It was 2nd and 20, and they get a few, but they'll be forced into a punting situation. Tom Gerhardt bringing Cunningham down well short. And so the Hamilton defense has stopped Flutie for the first time in the second half and brings Mike Vanderjagt onto the field. Had an interesting chat with him. He's from Oakville, and you start going over the kickers in professional football from Oakville, like Steve Christie with the Buffalo Bills, Klaus Bilsmeyer, the New Orleans Saints. There's Ian Sunter, who kicked a winning field goal in this stadium from Oakville. Zenon Andersician, the list goes on. Great soccer program there has produced some fine kickers. Here's Rogers turning the corner and getting out of bounds, so Marvin Graves and the Tiger Cats will have good field position. Or will they? No, it's Mike Kerrigan coming on. Mike Kerrigan is on for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. The quarterback coach is on the field.
Now, the only thing we need to really get settled here now, Michael, are you double dipping today? Do you get 2 checks? One is the coach and one is the player.
Well, the retirement didn't last that long, did it? Hero of the 1986 Grey Cup is on, and Marvin Graves, who works under Kerrigan, is going to watch the coach go to work. And they'll try a little reverse. Kerrigan's going to lead the blocking. Cody has to cut it back, and it didn't fool the Argos for a minute. Matt Cody getting back to the line of scrimmage, but not much more.
Just for a split second, but they have such great team speed, and their reaction speed and time is so good, they can get back into the play and make a tackle out there. Yes, it just did.
Yeah, you'd think with all the injuries to the Hamilton Ticat quarterbacking crew, you wouldn't bother with Kerrigan leading the blocking. Well, he pumps once and now guns it, and that's picked up by Ken Benson. So the coach is going to have to go back to the drawing board, too. It's a 3rd interception for the Argos on the day. And Kerrigan's return to the CFL is met with an interception on the first series.
Had a chance to sit down and talk with Jim Gilstrap, and he talked about Kerrigan reading defenses as well as anybody. But look at him. He's just concentrating. He's looking. He's giving away exactly where he's throwing the ball. A defensive linebacker, all he's going to do, he's going to sit, he's going to squat, get his depth, look at the quarterback, read his eyes, and then make a break on the throwing motion of that quarterback. Benson just did it absolutely playbook style.
Second interception of the year for Ken Benson. And the Argos enjoying this Labor Day in Hamilton. Here's a little swing pass to Clemens. Trying to get outside, cuts it back and pays the price. Pinball down to the Hamilton 50-yard line and has 8. Kevin Gaines came across to knock him off his feet.
Just enough to set that up. This is Doug Flutie just swinging the ball out to Clemens. Now, Dimitrition, just to the left of your screen, does a great job. He doesn't make the block. He just stands in the way and gets in the way of the defender there, which is Kevin Gaines, and he doesn't get called for the clip as they did earlier. And it allows Clemens to pick up 8 yards or so.
Pinball the lone setback. 2nd and 2, and Mike Campbell grabbed him and is going to toss him back. Old teammates. Campbell's not going to take a step backwards no matter what the score is. He's playing the old foes, the bad guys from down the road. Now, what was the forward progress? Have they moved the sticks? Yes.
So here's the point in this. It's 31-7 here. Hamilton, you're not looking very good right at this particular play, but don't lay down and die on this thing. Have somebody get inspired, and if a guy like Michael Campbell can go out there and throw around his old teammate, what's the rest of the guys going to do? Step up and play to that same level. At least make an effort to do something. Don't give up.
Penalty call coming up. Looked like Jesse Small was offside, and Mike Morially's wide open. And the Hamilton kid is in for the touchdown. Oh, they're going to mark him out inside the 1. And he's disappointed that he didn't get it. 47 yards. That's the longest pass play for the Argos on the season.
Hamilton, number 97, decline. First down.
Offside against Jesse Small, obviously declined. But Morially looking for his first touchdown of the season. Wide open downfield. Doug Flutie just had to lay it out there. The toughest thing to do was for Mike to make that catch. And he gets knocked out at about the half-yard line.
Interesting story. He related he wanted to play for the Tiger Cats. Mike Morially was drafted 17th overall. The Cats had the 16th pick in the draft and passed over him for another receiver who never made it. And now Mike Morially's happy to be wearing the blue and white of Toronto. Boy, he wanted to get in there. Instead, it's 1st and goal from the 1. Flutie keeps for Willie. Donovan Wright's got him down at the 5. Solid defensive play by Wright in a one-on-one position with Doug Flutie.
Great reaction time by Wright that time. As Doug Flutie, what he wants to do, he's going to fake the inside handoff, get everybody to concentrate on Michael Clemens, and he hopes he's just going to waltz around the outside. That wasn't going to happen. Wright played the play perfectly, came inside out on him, wasn't going to allow Doug Flutie to cut back on him, and he tackles him actually for a little loss.
You can tell Mike Campbell's trying to get the fans in it. They don't want to let the Argos score, even if they're down by 24 and the game may be out of reach. Flutie throwing, Clemens, touchdown. Well, this dynamic duo does it again.
Michael Clemens' second receiving touchdown of the 96 season, and it's a tough go at it when you ask a linebacker to come in one-on-one against Michael Clemens. Look at the hard move he makes to the inside. He gets Gerhardt to cross his legs over to make the step like he's going to the post, and as soon as that happens, Michael just slides it back to the outside, little spin around a move, and Doug Flutie makes no mistake with that pitch and catch.
That's what Doug was saying. Nobody can get the separation that quickly like Pinball Clemens, and the extra point is good, and the Argos route is on here. A rare sight did Ivor win. Toronto up big.
Well, in Hamilton, suddenly the Argos are leading the Cats by 31. 10 years ago on Labor Day, a result the Argos wouldn't forget. The only time in the entire decade they were able to beat the Cats in this classic. Danny Barrett to Darrell K. Smith for 1 touchdown. And then the handoff to Gil Fenerty for another, and a 25-19 Toronto win. Mind you, the Cats and Argos only played 4 times on Labor Day in the 80s, but that's a detail we're not going to let spoil the story. The odds are, Chris, the Argos will win their 2nd Labor Day Classic of the 90s unless there's divine intervention for the Cats.
They may need more than that at this point. The fans cheering Sam Rogers just for fielding that kickoff, and even that's been an adventure in this second half for the Ticats, and this has been an embarrassing afternoon, at least an embarrassing second half. Mr. Clemens adding a little insult to injury on that last drive, and he now has 6 catches in the game. And Clemens and Drummond, the running backs, have on the season 112 catches between them. That's how Flutie has utilized those two out of the backfield.
And then you got guys like Williams, and you've got Mazzotti, you had Fairholmes, just the numerous amount of weapons that Doug Flutie uses all the time, and everybody seems to be happy over there.
Mike Kerrigan back in. There's a completion. Matt Cody, the most reliable receiver for Hamilton, almost turned the corner.
This is the perfect kind of situation, if there is one, for Kerrigan to come in. What he's going to do, Toronto's going to play zone defense. They're not going to give up the home run ball. So Cody just goes down, finds the open area, sits down, and if Kerrigan has enough time, that offensive line buys a little extra time for him, he can nickel and dime this down the field. At 38-7, he's going to have to cash in a dollar bill every now and then.
Cody's touchdown, by the way, his 8th of the year, which is a CFL lead for pass receptions. Kerrigan, oh, look out. Marcelo Simmons almost duplicated the feat of Adrian Smith. Ted Long, the intended receiver. Mike almost had another one going back the other way.
Simmons out of SMU just baits Mike Kerrigan. Teases him into throwing that ball out to Cody in the flat. The ball slightly thrown behind it. He made a great break on the ball. Another step, and that's going for 6 to the house.
Donnie Wilson and Pinball Clements were huddling up the other day about Mike Kerrigan, and Clements thought that Kerrigan may be as good a quarterback at reading defenses as anybody he's played with. There's a running play for big yards up the middle, and the fans respond as Rush rushes to the 48 and looks like he has a first down. Reggie Gibbons, the tackle.
I don't think there's any doubt that Mike Kerrigan reads the defenses that well. A lot of the coaches in the league have complimented him on that. Jim Gilstrap, the offensive line coach who just came in to take over for John Talavanis, who had to retire from coaching due to some health reasons, and we're sorry to see him go, says that Kerrigan still is as good a quarterback at reading the defense as he has seen in this league.
Here's Kerrigan finding Cody again. And without making excuses for Mike, it's got to be pointed out that he just started taking snaps Thursday. I mean, he didn't have a camp. It's a little different drawing it up on the board than doing it in the line of fire like he is right now.
Well, when you go in there, and I guess Mike's thoughts and feelings were, I mean, he was going to go in there and hang a whistle around his neck and become a CFL professional coach. And now he, it's like out of the Godfather. Just when I want to leave, they drag me back in again. So there he is at the quarterback.
Here's a little shovel pass, and this one could be big yardage as Rush explodes off the left side over the 40, down to the 38. Simmons with the stop, but Kerrigan's got the offense moving. So something to cheer about for the 27-5-1-7 on hand at Ivor Wynn this afternoon.
Sprints out to the outside, and what Tim Cofield does is just gets upfield so quickly, gets that bead on Mike Kerrigan, allows the shovel pass to the inside. There's a good look. That's the receiver coach. That's Terry Greer, and he has done some great things in this league in his day.
Over the middle, Rush drops the ball. Tell you what, you bring Kerrigan out of the coaching spot, and with the injuries for the wideouts, Terry Greer might be the next guy recruited.
Well, I told him that. When I saw him yesterday at the press conferences and their practice, I said, I said, Terry, there's some guys looking at you pretty wide-eyed that maybe you should decide to come out. I said, you know, 26.5 is some pretty good money for these days to go play.
Well, this should be the final play of the third quarter, and the Cats will be happy when this 15 minutes of the game is over. 2nd and 10, and Kerrigan going to go deep. And it's incomplete. Nice coverage there again by Adrian Smith. Andrew Martin was the intended receiver, but well covered by the corner on the play. Well, what an explosion. It was a 25-point third quarter for Toronto, and it's 38-7 after 45 minutes.
CBC. Brought to you by B.F. Goodrich. Show them your true colors.
Toronto Argonauts well on their way to tying an all-time club mark. 8 wins in a row. The only team to put a blemish on their record this year, the Hamilton Tiger Cats, but just a shadow of the team that beat the Argos 38-36 in the second week of the season.
Since 1946, 29 Labor Day contests and classics have taken place. The Hamilton Ticats 23-6 over the Argos.
3rd down and 10. And Mike Kerrigan and the Ticats are going for it. And play called. There was some movement on both sides. It was Rob Waldrop jumping, but was he drawn by Blaine Schmidt, the right guard?
I think we're going to get offsides against Toronto.
Well, they're trying to sort out. Was he drawn? You got it. So now it'll be 3rd and 5.
Offside. Toronto number 92. Still 3rd down.
Well, the third quarter stats, and it was all Argos, now 391 total yards, and the turnovers, the Cats have turned it over 4 times. A big interception by Adrian Smith. Block punt there as well, 3rd and 5. Kerrigan throwing. It's complete, but it'll be short. Marcelo Simmons had Jason Phillips all wrapped up. That's the first catch of the game for Phillips. And the placement of the ball will be at the 29, which is a couple of yards short.
Well, here's the thing that's going to happen. I mean, you got to know as a receiver, you're 3rd and 5. You need at least run your route past the 1st down marker. And in case you have to come back and you're going to get the catch, Jason Phillips cuts it off about 3 yards short. Maybe that's why that's the first time he's been thrown at today.
So they turn it over on downs. That's the 5th turnover of the game for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Start the 4th quarter. 31-point lead. I wondered about Doug Flutie coming out now for Markel Fleetwood, but they're going to stick with all the guns. Pass for Clemens. Kickball's 7th catch of the game, but it's not going very far. In fact, he'll be stopped behind the line of scrimmage back at the 26. Kevin Gaines dropping Clemens for a loss on the play.
Good defense by Kevin Gaines that time. Maintains his position, outside positioning for that. Forces everything. Back inside, Michael Clemens had nowhere to go when the pursuit caught up to him. Doug Flutie and Toronto Argonauts, I think, Chris, they're here to make a point today.
Boy, they've been making a point all season long.
Safety blitz.
Big pressure. Flutie just gets it away, and Donovan Wright almost pulled it down. We'd love to have that one.
Flutie pass is knocked down by Donovan Wright. 3rd down.
Doug Flutie a little upset with what's going on. One of the plays up front, the safety came in. Sam Rogers forced Doug Flutie. Look to the right of your screen. There it is. Sam Rogers does a good job getting up there. Then the pursuit comes from the outside. Jesse Small and Gerhardt. And then he just throws it up for grabs. And Donovan Wright had a chance for a big pick and maybe pick up interception and be able to turn it into some points, at least create something positive for this Hamilton team today.
Vanderjagt hunting it. It bounces to Cody. No yards, flag down as Matt Cody breaks one tackle and turns the corner. Matt Cody still going, but flag's down. The initial flag for no yards, but there was an illegal block along the way. Let's join Scott Oak.
All right, Chris, here is Jim Morielli. He's been coming to Tiger Cat games since 1936. It's to his chagrin that his grandson's playing for the arch rival Argonauts, but I guess, Mr. Morielli, a loyal Ticat fan that you are, nothing can get you to switch loyalties?
No, nothing will make me switch. I'll stay a Tiger Cat diehard. I'm a diehard Tiger Cat.
You must have, though, felt a twinge of pride when your boy caught the 47-yarder a while ago.
Oh, I was happy about that, yeah. And I was glad that he caught it. And also is going to give him some encouragement so he can become a better player.
Right. On the other side of us, by the way, is Jim's brother Angelo. He's 78 years old, and he was just giving me a lesson, Chris, on when the forward pass was brought into the CFL, 1931. He said that Dan Kepley would have been a whole lot better player if he'd understood when he played in the 70s and 80s that the forward pass was legal.
And I've seen some of the early shots of Kepley, and there was no face mask on that helmet, was there?
What do you mean helmet? First of all, what do you mean by that?
Well, the combination of the no yards and the illegal block puts the ball back at the 40-yard line. Here's the Hall of Famer to be going in at the end of the month. And they'll have that old leather helmet that you wore at the end of your career.
At the very end. And that would have been like the mid-'80s.
There's Bert Thornton, who's playing on the outside today in place of the injured Marcus Grant. And he has a catch up near the 50-yard line. 9-yard pickup. It'll be 2nd and 1. Ken Benson bringing Thornton to the turf.
A yard to go.
Well, the Tiger Cats getting ready for next week now.
That's exactly where they need to be mind-wise, as far as they've got to start building something positive, because with the injuries today, the injuries that they still have going into next week's game, it's not going to get much better for a while.
Next Sunday against Winnipeg, here's Rush bursting up the middle. First down and a lot more. Courtney Griffin finally brought him down. They think that Rush is the answer at the running back position. They let Tony Stewart go, the former Calgary Stampeder.
Offensive line does a great job of getting off the ball that time. Good block on the middle linebacker, Ken Benson. And Rush, with that great explosive surge that he has, able to leap over a couple of people and keep those legs driving, picked up good yardage.
11 carries, 51 yards for the former Montreal Alouette. And they'll give it back to Rush again, and he'll add to those numbers. Stopped at the 38. Well, he played 3 games in Montreal, a free agent, but they've got a real backlog of running backs, of course. Mike Pringle.
Well, Mike Pringle, when he comes back, it somehow you become expendable to a point. You got Michael Souls in the backfield also over there. They are really utilizing him.
Yeah, Norman Bradford's had a terrific year for the Alouettes. We'll see them next week in action against the BC Lions at the Big O. Quick hitter, there's Cody. Ed Berry forcing him out of bounds. They only needed a couple, and Mike Kerrigan's got the offense going now.
Well, I think partly only because the Toronto defense is really playing a soft cushion out there. Ed Berry's in a man-to-man coverage. He's going to give plenty of cushion up in front to Cody. He's just going to make sure he throws the ball to the out, and then he's going to react up to it.
Ticats next Sunday against Winnipeg, and then they've got the Edmonton Eskimos the week after. And Anthony Calvillo might be ready for that game a couple of weeks from now. They play action, and Kerrigan guns it out to Phillips. And Phillips taken out of bounds by a couple of Argonauts at the 25-yard line. Exactly 5 minutes gone, third quarter. Adrian Smith and Marcelo Simmons combining on the tackle. Here's Anthony Calvillo on the right of your screen.
Pretty innocent play that he went down too. Also just a pulled hamstring if he's trying to scramble and get away. And they really needed to have him stay in that lineup, obviously, with the injuries to Matt Dunnigan.
2nd and 3, Hamilton. And Andrew Martin, the intended receiver, incomplete. Simmons again in coverage, and Andrew Stewart was turning the heat up on Kerrigan.
Take a look at this screen here. As Kerrigan's going to step up, he's going to line up right in the pocket as Andrew Stewart comes in. Just as he releases the ball, he wants to remind Michael Kerrigan exactly what it felt like to be a quarterback, standing in that pocket and taking a hit.
So it's 3rd down now for the Tiger Cats. Everybody out of the backfield, rush the completion, the spin, and he's over the 20 for another 1st down. Reggie Gibbons, Courtney Griffin bringing down Rush. Not before the Ticats moved the yardsticks. You're pointing out the Northwestern sweatbands on the wrists of.
Yeah, he's a loyal alumni of Northwestern.
They had the great year last year. I don't think Northwestern was nearly as successful when Mr. Kerrigan was at the controls.
Here's the call now. Frank Kerrigan, run a quarterback draw.
Whoops.
Okay, get the ball first.
Maybe we'll just eat the football.
That's exactly. You've got inside linebackers in Benson and also Givens. They're out man-to-man sometimes or dropping out wide in the zone area. There's only 2 guys down as Andrew Stewart and Waldrop are there. You get a little block on that. They're not expecting him to do it, but it could be interesting.
And Dale Sanderson kind of misfired there and was upset with himself. The veteran in his 171st game as the Hamilton Tiger Cats center. Another Hamilton native, went to the University of Tennessee, was a starting offensive lineman with the Volunteers.
Works as a youth correction officer in the offseason.
2nd down and 20. Kerrigan off the roll, throwing in the end zone for Martin, and he dropped the ball. Boy, Kerrigan was spot on with that one. Should have been caught.
Andrew Martin, the Canadian receiver out of Cornell University, gets a perfectly thrown pass to him and just does not look it in. In his hands and out. He couldn't buy a completion from Mike Kerrigan.
That brings up 3rd down and 20. A game that was close at the half, 13-7. The Argos exploding for 25 points in the 3rd quarter. 3rd down and a flag down as they throw into the end zone. Knocked down by Ed Barry. Tell you what, one of the Argo defensive linemen was tackled as he was bearing in on Mike Kerrigan. So a holding call will be declined.
Holding. Hamilton number 66. Declined. 1st down.
Big Miles Gurrell called. It's declined, and the Hamilton Tiger Cats turning it over on downs.
It's a complex, often controversial function, this thing called current affairs. It documents the lives of individuals and communities in those extraordinary moments that illuminate a larger aspect of human experience. The CBC has a long and proud tradition in current affairs journalism. Our stories have altered institutions, changed lives, and made us think about how the world works, who we are, and why we care.
Music looks like a lot of fun when you're playing, and it is. It's a business, though. You've got to make ends meet. I make 500-600 calls a month. The Advantage program is definitely something that's come into play in a big way. When you're out on the road, you're working 24 hours a day. Checking back with the office, the voicemail. The discounts for me have come in around 30%. It's a sizable chunk of money. It's a long, slow process to an overnight success.
Bell Advantage, providing solutions for business.
The CFL on CBC. Brought to you by Bell.
All right, so it hasn't been a vintage Labor Day classic at Iverwin Stadium in Hamilton. Argos leading 38-7, but folks, we're not going to disappoint because we're going to go back 20 years to a Labor Day where number 42 was knocking them around, jarring the football loose, and, well, maybe we better get our analyst to assess this play. Look at him, meeting him in the hole, big-time play. It's Willie Burton, your old...
Willie Burton, I tackled Willie so many times. I played against him in high school. He played at Inlow High School. He played at North Carolina State, and then he played for the Calgary Stampeders. The only reason is I had Dave Fennell make sure down that lineman, he and Billy Stevenson, take care of everybody else, and then all I had to do was go up and down the line and try to make a tackle.
From the Wall of Fame in Edmonton to the Hall of Fame in Hamilton. Brilliant career of Mr. Kepley.
That's amazing. I mean, they actually had color film back then.
Well, we had some of the later years of your career.
I thought some of the technicians, the great guys at CBC, could put that together.
A little colorized action.
Kind of feels like Gone with the Wind being, you know, revamped it a bit.
Doug Flutie going over to the sidelines. He's done for the day, apparently, taking a high five from the coach. And Markel Fleetwood is in.
Do you think it would make any difference if I sent those couple of clips to Sudsy? Maybe if he can't sign O'Shea?
I'm surprised he didn't offer you before the game. The way linebackers have been going down. Fleetwood upended at the 50-yard line, and the backup Argo quarterback is in with a quick first down. Markel Fleetwood, who played the 93 and 94 seasons with the Ottawa Roughriders. Here's a look at his career. And what a chance to understudy the best in the Canadian Football League, number 2.
95, he played the WLAF in Frankfurt. Coming into this game so far in the 96, he's only thrown. He's 1 for 3 in the passing, and that was his 4th rush of the 96 season.
Quick little hitch screen to Jimmy Cunningham, and he was flying there. Cunningham just took off. Went airborne, got the first down. Cunningham, 5'7", 160 pounds, and Mike Campbell was the man who brought him down, 6'2", 260.
But just going to throw it out there, the quick hitch. Giaskas and Kislak and Stevenson trying to release out there, get a block on somebody. And great pursuit. Now, this is still it. I mean, it's 38-7. There's 4 minutes and 50 to go. And Mike Kama's getting down the line of scrimmage, and he's going to lay a lick on somebody. He's not giving up out there. They need to get the other 11 guys playing to that level.
Yeah, the jet went airborne, and Campbell lowered the boom. Pass incomplete, intended for Esquerdo. And that'll bring up 2nd and 10. You know, when Doug Flutie at the end of the year is approaching 6,000 yards and approaching record setting, you can look back at games like this that, you know, it makes sense to bring him out, but this is maybe the only way you're going to stop him from setting more records in the CFL is sitting him down in games like this.
Safety blitz again, a lot of pressure.
Fleetwood somehow, in Flutie-like fashion, worked his way out of it. How about that? Elusive Markel Fleetwood out of the University of Minnesota.
Well, Chris, getting back to the comment that you made regarding, you know, the personal goals, and let's take a look at this replay quickly. That's Mike Campbell coming in scot-free all by himself, but there's no contain to the outside. That allows Fleetwood to show out there, and it shows that he does have some great scrambling ability. He just doesn't get very much chance to use it and to show it and getting into some playing time. But that guy right there, he is more important about the team goal. You know, 37 guys out there with one goal, and that is to win the Grey Cup. Not get there, but to win the Grey Cup. And if along that road that you're able to accomplish some personal goals, he's not going to jeopardize the big picture for just one individual, whether it's Doug Flutie or whether it's a defensive player or anything. He will not do that.
Flutie now sending in the signs and signals for Fleetwood. Clemens on that last carry, just a yard. And I asked Clemens, are you having as much fun as 91? And he said, yeah, but until we win the Grey Cup, it won't be as much fun.
Well, and I think initially Michael may have had a little hard time, making that adjustment, going from, the headliner to a guy that was part of the team in a sense, and part of one of the weapons.
Here's Fleetwood looking for Williams, and that's picked off by Kaiser. Jason Kaiser with the interception. Lost his footing on the return, but Fleetwood turns it over, and the Tiger Cats have the football back with 2:40 to play. All Argonauts here at Ivor Wynn this afternoon.
Can you remember the way it used to feel when you believed in make-believe and fairy tales were real?
It's the 25th anniversary of Walt Disney World, and the most magical celebration ever begins at McDonald's, where you can sign up to be a part of it all and get one of 4 25th anniversary glasses, just $1.59 each when you buy any large sandwich like the new Arch Deluxe.
Remember the magic.
When people hear the Hendrick Motorsports team switch to Quaker State this year, they'll probably think Quaker State wrote us a big check. Well, that's not how it happened. First, it had to pass our camshaft test. Then it had to pass our dyno test. Then it had to pass a track test. Then they wrote us the big check.
Now offering a free 400,000-kilometer or 10-year limited warranty on used vehicles. Some conditions apply.
Of course, Canadian comedy's unique. It has no other choice. I mean, just look at what goes on in this country.
Of the year for Jason Kaiser as he picks off Markel Fleetwood here in the late stages of the fourth quarter.
Ty is open. Tyrone Williams is open. He leads him inside, but the poorly thrown ball thrown behind the intended receiver. Kaiser does a great job of reacting to the ball and not to the player as he picked it up, and then comes up, as you said, Chris, with his second interception of 96.
So Kerrigan goes back to work from his own 13-yard line, takes it to Rush. And there's a completion up over the 25-yard line, and that's the first down. Ted Long, who missed last week with a shoulder injury, has the catch. Receiver out of Oklahoma.
This is one of those kind of passes sometimes late in the game. Toronto does what they call a double cut, where they play a zone. The cornerbacks play the short zone, and the halfbacks go deep. Now, this is the corner that's coming out. That's Donald Smith. And when the receiver slides out into that flat zone like that, and the quarterback leads him a bit, that cornerback has one heck of a run to make a heck of a hit on that guy.
Rush again out of the backfield. Courtney Griffin meeting him there. And he's stopped at the 32. Gain of 4. There's one other quarterback we haven't talked about today for Hamilton. That's Larry Justanis, the Canadian, who had a start a couple of weeks ago in a rough one against Calgary. He's not dressed today, but also on the sidelines. He's a project for Don Southern and the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and I think they just felt that it was better to ease him in more instead of throwing him into the fire work week after week. But they still think very highly of the Hamilton native out of Acadia, 2-time Heck Creighton Trophy winner, Larry Justanis. There's a completion by Kerrigan and a first down. And Don Southern was saying the other day that he played with Russ Jackson in the early days, and even Russ Jackson needed a little time to get his legs in the Canadian Football League. And I mean, it's tough to even mention Justanis in the same breath as Jackson, but the point being, let's not throw this guy into the fire too quickly. He just needs some time.
Well, he's like a great horse that has a lot of potential and a thoroughbred. You don't want to break his spirits, and you don't want to get him, shell-shocked early in the season. And that's a good look at him on the sideline. But the times that he had to do was to go out there and to show himself. He has done himself very proud.
What makes it even tougher is Justanis, Marvin Graves, who started today, and Mike Kerrigan, who is in. 3 quarterbacks we're talking about, and none of them were in training camp for the Tiger Cats. So you're starting in a big hole.
Well, it's impossible to ask your offense to have any kind of vague resemblance of continuity.
First down.
Well, Marvin Graves started with Toronto. He was in the Argo camp, let go in June. went out to BC. That didn't work, and got the call 3 weeks ago for Don Southern when first Matt Dunnigan and then Anthony Calvillo went down.
Well, you knew that for a fact in Toronto you weren't going to get that much playing time, and then maybe the situation of what's happening, unfortunately, with BC, getting an opportunity to come in Hamilton may be a blessing to him. Now he's got the chance. He just has to really sharpen his skills and take the best advantage of this.
It's tough to make a final decision on a Marvin Graves after a couple of weeks here, because it's got to be more of a long-term thing, doesn't it?
Well, I think it does. I mean, he's also, you know, he's only been in the league. This is his 3rd year. He's basically a project also. There's very few guys that can come right out of the college system and step on the field and become superstars.
Final minute here for Mike Kerrigan and the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Second down and 11. And Waldrop meets Kerrigan and wrestles him down. Well, Rob Waldrop, man, the Argo defense has been stingy today. A reminder, coming up next, it'll be the Calgary Stampeders playing host to the Edmonton Eskimos. Locking horns at McMahon Stadium. A capacity crowd expected there for the Labor Day Classic. The next home game for the Hamilton Tiger Cats will be against the Edmonton Eskimos here on September the 15th. And Don Southern is hoping that either Matt Dunnigan or Anthony Calvillo will be the starting quarterback for the Ticats on that day.
There was no doubt after today that the Toronto Argonauts had taken a significant lead on the Battle of the QEW in the Harold Ballard Trophy against the Ticats.
Here's Mr. Cunningham. Jimmy Cunningham returned one for a touchdown against Hamilton last year. Nice punt return up to the 43-yard line for the man who leads the CFL in all-purpose yards. Tough day for Suds.
My name is John McMulkin.
My name is Peter May.
5 losses in a row, 6 of 7, and you know it's eating this guy up.
Well, he's the guy that he looks pretty calm as he stands right there, but it is just tearing him up on the inside. This guy is a competitor, and if a lot of the guys out there on the field today had to kind of fire this inside Don Southern and guys like Mike Campbell and other players that are out there, Phil Brooks and a couple of guys like that, you've got a chance to make a winner. You just have to rise above this.
He kind of in his heart knew they were a little bit outmanned going into the game, but thought maybe the emotion of the day might carry it. They kept it close for 30 minutes, but the third quarter, the unraveling of the Tiger Cats today, few words being spoken down there as they let the clock run out. And Don Southern and Don Matthews will shake hands after a convincing Toronto victory.
Don Matthews' career record now goes to 141, 71, and 1 tie.
And it's 22 wins in the last 23 starts for a team coached by Don Matthews. 38-7 the final. Toronto wins it. Let's join Scott.
All right, Chris, here is Don Matthews, victorious coach today. Don, it was all working for the Argos.
Well, the whole deal was going good today. You know, the offense made some points, scored on defense, blocked a kick, and our special teams came up big. So when everything's going like that, we're tough to beat.
Including the offense as proficient as ever. Did you feel you took the steam out of the Ticats and their emotions just fell flat when you got those 2 quick ones at the start of the second half?
Yeah, that probably hurt them quite a bit. We were a little disappointed we gave up that one right at the end of the half, and we were in a bad defense. I shouldn't have had them in that defense, but the defense came out big in the second half and shut them out. That was big for us.
Yeah, what about your defense, Don? Because so often you talk about the Argo offense, obviously because it's led by Doug Flutie, but the defense was outstanding today.
Well, it was, but don't forget now, the Ticats are really hurt. You know, Dunnigan's out. They've got a lot of guys injured, and that's not their best football team. And when they go on the football field again against us, we're going to have to do a big job, because when they get all their players back, they're going to be a tough football team.
Now, you and I talked a couple days ago about how big this game usually is. What's it mean to win it, even if it is a lopsided decision?
Well, it's always big to win when you come to Hamilton. For the Ticat, fans, this is their big game of the year, and for the Argos, it's our big game of the year. So for us and our fans to come down here and win, it's just great.
Don, thanks for your time. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So the Argos make it 2 in a row on Labor Day over the Ticats. At least one team turned in a classic performance today. 38-7 this final, and we'll return in just a moment.
This is the CBC.
For the Argos to win this Labor Day game, so this certainly was a break from tradition. Another solid with Gus up to outstanding performance for Doug Flutie. He's on pace for his third 6,000-yard passing season. 21 of 28 today, 324 yards, so those are pretty impressive numbers. 2 touchdown passes. You rushed for 1 yourself. What did you think of a game that's supposed to be a classic?
It was tough. I tell you what, they came out with emotion. They were playing us tough. We moved the ball very well. If they had moved the ball offensively in the first half, we would have been in a dogfight. Second half, we made some big plays, things snowballed, and we pulled away. But the first half, it was a 7-point ball game, 6-point.
Yeah, were you worried when they got that late one at the end of the first half?
I just thought that was inexcusable. We never should have let that happen. The clock was running down. We knew it was the last play of the half, but they made a big play, and it got them back in the ball game. The first drive in the second half kind of set the tone. We marched the ball down the length of the field and stuck it in, and that got the momentum back.
I think we've got a replay here now of a big gainer to Tyrone Williams, and you really clicked with this guy this year.
Tyrone's got exceptional speed. He's deceiving how big he is. This is a ball down the middle of the field. They were splitting the coverage all day, and I finally got to him down the middle of the field. Tyrone struggled a little today catching the ball. He's got all the tools in the world, and he's going to be a great one in this league.
And this would be you punching in for the touchdown?
Yeah, quarterback sneak, and I'm still on my feet. That says a lot for the offensive line. They did a great job all day long.
How about the way it's going for the Argonauts, Doug? You're 9-1 now, winners of 8 in a row. This, by the way, the 47-yarder to Mike Morielli. But a comment on how well it's going for this team.
It's really, I mean, I thought we'd eventually be a real good football team. But we came off the beginning of the season. I was a little nervous, but we came out with a 3-1, 4-1 start, and it snowballed from there. I was a little hesitant thinking about the early part of the season.
Quickly, do you feel as confident with this team as you felt in your great years with Calgary?
Not quite to the point where we were in Calgary. Right now, I think Calgary's the team to beat. I think they've established themselves as the #1 team in this league, and we're fighting to prove that we are. And whenever that matchup comes, we'll have to go knock off the guys on top.
We're going to go to Calgary in just a second, but any regrets about not being there for that game today because you played well in all those?
Oh, that would be fun. It's a great atmosphere out there. This is a great weekend for the league. The Ottawa game, the Saskatchewan game, here in Hamilton, the fan support, and now out in Calgary. I'm just going to wish Darren all the luck in the world today.
All right, thanks for your time, Doug. Congratulations on a fine show today.
Thanks a lot.
As I say, the second half of our Labor Day Classic